Alright, hello everybody, and welcome back to some more Fear of Dracula, conversation with me and Rossco, and today we are going to look at the Dracula encounter cards, and just chat about them, and maybe try and put them into sort of an informal tier list sort of thing. Fuck knows how long this video is going to be, so yeah, you'll know when you click on this video how long it is, so yeah, good luck sitting through this, but it could be a good cure for your insomnia, I suppose, if you do suffer from such a thing. So yeah, obviously Roscoe's on the line with me. Hello, Roscoe.
Yes, hello again. It's time to talk bollocks for 2 hours over stuff that should be finished within 20 minutes. But
exactly, that's our thing now. If we talk really concisely, then it's not going to be a Rossco Scot-sword video. It's just can't. It's like it's our thing now, right?
yeah, if there's anything that's relevant to do what we're talking about, someone's gone wrong. Phone the authorities.
Exactly. So okay, so just quick lowdown. So as you see, 28 encounter cards. This is obviously this digital edition, and then Roscoe's got his physical board game out, so 3rd and 4th edition. There might be some minor changes, but I don't think so. They're all pretty much the same. So yeah, 28 encounter cards in total. Dracula can hold on to... Put you on the spot, Ross. How many encounter cards can Dracula hold at once?
6.
There you go. I my head was like, is it 5 or 6? Shit, I bet check. Yeah, okay. How many encounter cards can Dracula hold at once?
6.
There you go. My head was like, is it 5 or 6? Shit, I bet check. Yeah, okay. How many encounter cards can Dracula hold at once?
6.
There you go. My head was like, is it 5 or 6? Shit, I bet check. Yeah, okay. And yeah, and basically every time Dracula puts one down on the trail, not the starting location, which is often a big mistake, and that was the mistake I made when I first played the board. Because like, oh yeah, totally, I did like Will Wheaton did. Yeah, I'll put the counter down on the first one. We shouldn't.
Yeah.
Cheeky git. Even though clearly it's in the rules as well. You put one down and then you pick one up immediately. But if you ever have more than 6 for whatever reason, you don't pick up a new one until you get to that limit of 6, and you put down one, then you pick up another one.
Unless you draw Dark Call, then you can have additional.
Oh yeah, but like what I mean is like, yeah, if you got like the 11 from Dark Call, then you place one, you don't get another one. You have to go from the 11 down to 6, and then you start replenishing as normal.
Yeah, that's your threshold. Yeah.
Yeah. And in case anyone doesn't, I mean, I'm sure people will know what encounter cards are, but they're basically the things that Dracula puts on the trail to basically fuck around with the hunters, to delay them, try and get influence points, and then if you play in the advanced rules, locations that slip off the trail, Dracula could put them into layers, which is basically 3 slots on the side of the board where you can have like extra cities sitting there. They're not part of Dracula's active trail, but they're just sitting there, and you can put encounters into them and get rid of the layers and put new ones, so you can cycle through your encounter deck quicker, basically. Or you could leave them like nice little traps behind for the hunters to walk into when they conveniently forget that the lair is there, and that is something that I do on a very frequent basis, normally against Rossco, and it's a thing that I can, especially in the game we played the other day in the league, when you saw me, I mean, spoiler alert, but when you saw me bombing up to Edinburgh, you must have been pissing yourself.
Yeah, I thought he's not looked at Lair's box again.
No, the one time I don't look at the Lair's box, and it's the moment I landed on it, and it didn't reveal your location. I was just like, wait, no, it's a lair. I just couldn't believe it. I couldn't believe it. To be fair, I'm gonna say this. You hear it in the commentary for that video. You played that lair really well in terms of like timing to ambush. That was really well played on your part. So yeah, props for that. Yeah, so that's basically...
It's funny. A lot of players don't check the layer box. I think because it's tucked away in the top right and they're concentrating everything else. Normally every other, because there's one you mentioned as well. There was a game I was playing. I think you were recording. I don't know who it was against, and I didn't remove one of the layers. I think it was Sophia, and you made a good point. You were like, right, ladies and gentlemen, if you notice, Drac hasn't changed the layer, which means that he can be there. And I was like, right. Because again, if you can do that as well, if you keep checking layers and one disappears and Drac's in the vicinity, then it might mean, he's done that hoping you don't see it and he can go there. Yeah. Or he's done it hoping you'll go there and he goes somewhere else. So they do have dual... I did actually do 3% of prep for this, and I've actually got a little section about best cards to play on layers, but we'll come on to that. You can... Oh,
there you go, you see? Oh, fucking professional here, guys.
Put a bit of effort into this.
I
Fucking,
know.
it's only taken about 23 videos or something, but you know.
I think that's interesting, like the dynamic between the board game and digital, because digital, it's easier to check the layers because you can click the button like every day, whereas in the board game you have to constantly look across the board like what cities are there. But if Dracula wants to get rid of the layers, they can clear them really quickly, and the hunters get no problem. Whereas in the physical board game, if you see Dracula mucking around with layers, you're like, oh, I wonder why he's doing that kind of thing. So it's actually a very interesting dynamic. You'll play a little bit differently potentially. But yeah. Anyway, so yeah, I think that's the thing we're going to have to talk about. We're going to have to talk about them as a trail card, like their power in terms of like an ambush card, and as a layer card, and also I think because of the League of Dracula that's been going on. I know this video might come out after the League has happened, sorry people, and you might watch this in the future. But because we've had this competition going on, I've been thinking about the cards a little bit differently, and I think you probably have as well. The fact you're more experienced than me anyway, and you may have seen how certain things could be changed. So, yeah, okay. How do you want to start this? Do you want to maybe talk about the vampire cards first, because they're all quite similar, but we group them up and we talk about the differences between them?
Yeah, sounds good. Yeah, there's only 3 of them, so we can talk about that. That sounds good.
So you have to just pardon me on the screen. I'm going to have to flick backwards and forwards. So obviously, the 3 types: aristocratic. It's the one that you can't ambush with it, so it's not a fighter vampire. But if the hunter wants to get rid of it, they just get delayed and the card just disappears, unless you use a stake, obviously. If it matures, get 4 points. A new vampire is the one with the most health. It only gives you 3 influence if you mature it, but it's got 6 health rather than the reckless that has a little bit less. But the cool thing with new vampires is hunters can gang up on it. They can get into a 2v1 or 3v1 fight against a new vampire, but they delay to do it, basically. That's the way it works. They delay themselves to participate in the combat. And then the reckless vampire is the one with less health. It only has 4. It gets 4 points if you mature it, though. But the cool thing with the reckless vampire is every time you resolve fangs, if it's an ambush combat, that's kind of really important to realize. It's not a search combat. It's only if you ambush with the reckless and you get fangs, trigger on the hunter is not cancelled, then as well as taking, the hunter taking damage and all that stuff, and the reckless vampire potentially healing, you're increasing that influence track by 1. And there's often quite a common way that Dracula players will try to get, because you need 13 influence to win, and assuming no vampires mature, if you get into the final week, you get blocks of 3 per day that you move in the 4th week. But if you just get 1 fangs with a reckless vampire, that takes you up 1 point. It means you have to move 1 day fewer in the final week, which could be vital. Anyway, so the floor's open to you, Rossco. You want to go at this? If you want me to flick back to a particular vampire, you tell me.
Yeah, well, we've got reckless there, so we'll do the one that's up. So yeah, I think it's interesting. Obviously, the whole point is you want to play. The vamps can be played in many different iterations depending on the strategy. You can have them as obviously attacking and doing damage to the hunters. They can be trying to get the points that you need obviously to win the game as partly of what they can do. So another argument about it where so for the reckless, what is good about it, as you say, you get the influence points, and if you're on a 9, it takes you up to 10, and all of a sudden that's the difference between just moving once if it's the final week. Obviously, the only issue all 3 of them are affected by is if a stake's used, that's it. So unless you do damage in the first search action, note for newbies as well, is basically always ambush with a reckless or a new vampire. If a hunter lands on you during the day, don't wait for night because you'll get nothing back of it. You may as well try and get some damage during the day. If they've got a stake, they'll try and escape, but don't sit and unless you know all the stakes have gone. If you can check the discard pile and no hunters of stakes, and you might think, right, well, I'll just hang on to this for night and do more damage.
That's definitely like a more advanced thing. Like, yeah, as I said, I agree. If you're just like a brand new player, don't just keep ambushing. But yeah, as you get more proficient with it, you can start realizing, right, Van Helsing used stake last turn or whatever, or a few turns ago. It's very unlikely that he's got another one. I'm not going to ambush here and make him think, oh no, it's something a little bit more benign, right? And then you search at night, and then boom, vampire, and then you can actually cause a lot more damage that way. But you feel really bad the one time you do that, and then it's like, oh no, I've got a stake. You're like, oh fucking really? Like, how the fuck do you have 2 of these things? So yeah, it's that's more than advanced strategy and really trying to get as many advantages as possible. Because the difference between a day fight and a night fight could be the difference between the vampire dying quite easily or potentially the hunter dying. So it's kind of that. Yeah.
I think with regards to the reckless, I think it's a great vampire, and in many ways, it almost kind of coaxes out a heavenly host on a hunter if they have it. If they're getting desperate, they don't have a stake, they're thinking, right, a heavenly host will kill a reckless vampire straight out. Knowing that the reckless vampire will probably try and fang when they can to get the 1 influence point, and it's then a game of cat and mouse as to when do the hunters play it if they have one. If they don't, they don't. One of the, it's always a good one, I think, if even if you fang on the first attempt, if they punch or anything else, fine. If they play knife, then okay, you take 3 damage, but they've got a knife and that could be the only weapon they have. And then it's down to them to think, right, okay, well, when's he going to use the next one? Do I play Heavenly Host now? And of course, if you fight them at night and you Heavenly Host and you fang them, then they lose a Heavenly Host, they're out of the battle, and it's job done as well. Plus, you get an influence point as well. So
yeah.
There's a lot of
that's true.
there's
a
lot of different
Yeah, that's a good point to think about. It doesn't actually matter if it was day or night if you fang them if they play a heavenly host. But yeah, the fact that you'd potentially kill a hunter or bite them if it's Mina killer, and then you get an additional point, the fact that you've activated fangs, so you can actually get a lot of points really quickly with just one reckless. It's pretty impressive.
Absolutely, yeah, absolutely, and it's a strong one to get, and of course then it's. If it matures, you're getting the 4 for it. If it's a rumour, you're getting the 7. So it's a stronger than aristocratic because it can fight back, and you're still getting the same amount. The aristocratic, which we'll come on to, but out of the 3 is probably the weakest that's there.
Yeah, agreed.
Because you can't do anything with it. It's just purely reactionary. So yeah, the reckless I do like. I've had a few good games where, especially if it's towards a later one, if you can do a location and a hide and double vamp it with 2 reckless and Drax there, that's going to be pretty painful for the hunters. You could take 4 points alone just by both the reckless vampires fanging them, and it's 4 points and 4 damage, so it could be pretty good. By the time Drax faces them, it could be like, oh right, okay, well, we need to hit you once and that's you dead.
Yeah, I don't think it surely. I mean, maybe this is just. It can't be a coincidence that the vampire that has 4 health, therefore can be just killed instantly by Heavenly Host, is also the one that is incentivized to play fangs more often, which is the thing that counters Heavenly Host. That can't be a coincidence, surely.
I agree. I think that's it is. It's kind of baiting them, isn't it? It's baiting both. If you're a hunter, you're wanting to bait. If you play a dodge and they play the fangs, great. And if they both play both their fangs and you block them, you're like, right, well, now it's time for Heavenly Host. Yeah. So. Yeah, you're right. It's very much a fragile battle on that. And again, do the hunters want to waste a Heavenly Host, especially if they're holding CG? Do they want to waste a Heavenly Host to kill this? Or do they want to try and wait until stakes are there? So yeah, I think it's a very strong card because of the multiple damage and benefits you can get from it if you ambush correctly.
True. Then the downside is it can, because it's only got that 4 health, it can just die really quickly. Which is then, if you don't if as Dracula you don't get the right combat cards, or hunters are tooled up well, or they play it right, it can just die really fast. And you feel really bad when you lose. I think that's the thing, because you're so incentivized to play fangs with this vampire that it's so easy then for the hunter. We're going to do items later at some other point, but it's so easy for the hunters to go, I'll just play crucifix and knife and garlic and all this stuff, and then this vampire's kind of rendered a little bit. Not useless, but its strength is taken away then. But it's a very, as you said, cat and mouse is like the best way to describe it when you play reckless.
Yeah, it is, because if you face the other ones, you're like, right, I know what I need to do here. This is it's only a one-on-one, so you've got that option as well. What do you do? When do you bite? I think in the video you've got coming out tomorrow, our game in the league in the UK, I think it was Godalming and there was a reckless that they came up against.
Yeah.
And I think with Sword was the same sort of thing, but it was a case of I had fangs in there that I didn't play in various others because you're just like, right, do I play it? Because again, especially if you're a hunter, you're thinking, right, well, if he hasn't played fangs in the first one, maybe he didn't have it. If you wait longer into the battle, then the chances are he's going to get the cards that he needs.
Yeah.
So do you risk it and play it on the first hand, hoping? Because again, if he's got mesmerise, it doesn't matter. Your Heavenly Host will go off.
Yeah.
So, or do you think, well, what if he's got fangs now and he play? So it's I really like it when it's a battle, when it's a one-on-one with a hunter and a reckless.
Yes.
And it's pure risk and reward. You either die straight off, then all right, fair enough, or you're going to do some damage, and you could potentially get rid of a Heavenly Host, which is huge, and damage or kill a hunter.
Because I did that in the league game I played against Quincy, where it was Van Helsing was trying to fight a reckless, and I fanged first turn, but he dodged it, and then just by luck, because when I got into again, it's about combat cards now. The whole game's intertwined. That's the problem with this. But I went into the combat screen and I had 2 fangs immediately with the reckless. I was like, right, I'm just gonna blow my first fangs now, first round. If I get the bite on the Heavenly Host, then perfect. But I didn't. It dodged, and then the hunter plays me. You go, oh, he's now blown his fangs. The chances of him having a second one is so unlikely. Plays Heavenly Host by fang second turn, and it just ruined the hunters from that point, because then they had to fight later, and it caused lots of issues. They didn't have Heavenly Host, so they were very weak, and it's such a interesting, very much do or die kind of thing. It's very cool.
It is, yeah. And again, the good thing is, regardless what stage of the game it is, you do risk losing points to him. So it's not one of those where you're like, it's the final week, I better, you come across someone, there's 2 in the deck, so, but again, you can get them back via dark calls or, various others. So again, it's one of those.
That's already important, the number. There are 3 aristocratics and 3 reckless, but there's only 2 new vampires. It's actually interesting.
2 new ones. Yeah.
Yeah. So
you've got to play them as and when you think is right. If you place 2 down on a trail and a hide, you risk. Okay, well the reward is you can get multiple damage. You might burn their stake on the first one, and then all of a sudden the second reckless pops up and they've got to fight them, or they could escape route, fangs, stake, and then come back and do it, and all of a sudden you've lost 2 attacking vampires. So
yeah, that's the problem. You're
when you want to play it.
Yeah, we can talk about that later when we talk about all the 3 vampires in general, like how you space them out on the trail and all that stuff. Is kind of interesting. Okay.
Yeah.
So reckless, pretty strong. What was
Yes.
Do you think new vampire is stronger than the reckless? Because it's more effort to kill because it's 6 health, even though you can gang up with it with multiple hunters.
Yeah, it is. It is a fucking tenacious vampire. It really is. There's been many a time if you go in there with the wrong stuff, even if you go in there tooled up on weapons, it can take so long to chip away. And you say that the 6 health, that extra 2 health does cause issues. However, the difference being, like you said, there's no limit to what you can have with hunting. So if you've got 2 in the vicinity, you stick 2 on them, or if one of them's got a stake, you don't really want to get involved in a hand-to-hand with a new vampire. You just want to get somebody in there with a stake. But if you have to, then you can team up. It's again good reasons for both, and negative. Obviously, with the new vampire, she's there purely to cause as much damage as she can, is my opinion. She's got the higher health. I'm saying she because it looks like a female in the image before I get anybody complaining about it. So when I play new vampire, it's like, right, I've got 6 health, so effectively I've got 2 to play with. Let's just see how much damage I can do on one hunter. If they double up, one's going to get delayed. That could help Drac get away. So it's really they're all cannon fodder for Drac anyway. Basically, it's what you want them to do. Yeah. And again, if it matures, I've played games where I've not matured a new vampire because I'm like, well, actually, the 2 cards following are better than what I had placed, so I'll just turn it into a layer. I wouldn't turn a layer with a reckless, but a new, I would consider it. If somebody lands on it and it's high traffic, that could be a good bit of damage.
Yeah, especially if that is only 3. If it has a rumour token, then you'd probably mature.
Yeah, sure.
If it's just a normal new vampire, then why not? Yeah, put into a layer. Yeah, I think I think that's one of these weird, interesting things with, like, again, it's more of a combat thing, really, but, like, what do you do with vampires? Do you try to be aggressive to do as much damage as possible, or do you play defensive and just say, I want to keep this vampire as alive as possible? Because the longer this vampire's alive, the hunters have to commit more actions to deal with this. So sometimes there is an argument just to, not go for the kill on the hunter, even though sometimes it might be possible, but just go, right, I'll hold back here, I'll just play like pure defensive, play strengths and mesmerizers all the time, and then it means that the hunters have to think, oh shit, now I've got to go send another hunter over there to deal with it, either with a stake or not with a stake, and then they have to fight again, and they've lost actions because of the delay, and it kind of then happens. If vampires die really quickly, the hunters then have a lot more time to do whatever they want with. Obviously, if they have stakes, you can't do much about it. But if they don't have stakes, a lot of, I think, the strategies then don't worry about killing the hunters. Just slow them down enough, because then you're buying yourself as Dracula, who's the main thing you've got to worry about as a Dracula player. You got more time on your hands then to do whatever you want, and leave even more stuff behind for them to deal with. So, yeah.
Again, like the Reckless, I would always ambush with a new vampire, because again, if a hunter comes on, they want to stake you, mesmerize, stops the escape. Even if you can do 4 damage, say a max, which is probably what you're going to get unless they're unlucky in a day fight before they escape, then at night time they've got to use that action staking you, and they're now down by 4 health. So then the following day, what they're going to do, they're going to move, they're not going to heal during the day. So if they do move and jump onto another card, it's knocking off, it's just chipping away the health that they have. So you do leave them that option whether you are going to lose it. So the new vamp, as I said, I try and use it as a kind of cannon for it. It's just like, do as much damage as you can before they escape. Because again, if they haven't got a stake, they'll just double up. So the new vampires are going to probably die anyway. And I've seen, and for those who remember, it's a 6 health, because I've seen in the past people use heroic leap and then wonder why they're not dead. So you don't want to use heroic leap on these vamps. Although I have, not so recently. So you just use it for what you need to. So yeah, new and Reckless, again, they've both got their reasons. Reckless is going to give you more towards the end game, I feel, because of the bite side.
Yeah.
And the new one's a bit of a tank because it's got the extra health, and is always like, oh shit, if you rock up it with no stake and 1 weapon, you're like, this is going to be a long battle.
Impossible.
Especially if another hunter's far away, then what do you do? Do you pick the battles and leave it, or?
I don't know. I think then also as the Dracula player, obviously it depends on what combat cards you get, but if Dracula knows you only have 1 weapon, it's so easy. If it's just a one-on-one fight with either of these vampires, but especially with the new vampire, you can just keep playing straights and mesmerize it all day long, and the hunter can't do anything. And they might get maybe 2 damage off. Well, who fucking cares? It's still got 4 health.
And that's it. Yeah, as you say, the good thing is that then if you have to face them at night and you don't have a stake, even if you've doubled up, they might still have 4 health. So all of a sudden, you're not going into some. If you take 3 off a Reckless, it's like, well, okay, this is okay. We'll just both play certain. You can pretty much circumnavigate that and kill it within 2 rounds. If a new Vam's got 4 on, you're like, even a weapon won't kill it. You've got to. So it's another night fight, and it's just a prolonged. When I see that come up as a hunter, I'm like, unless you've got stake, you're like, fuck, this is going to be difficult. Unless you get lucky with it and you manage to play, say for example, 2 knives.
Then, or like you get 1 damage with a punch, and then the new vampire somehow allows you to play a rifle with like a holy bullets or something.
Yeah.
But then again, when we talk about item cards, we can come into that. But obviously, holy bullets is not the most common thing to take. But then, I think that's why it makes it good if you do take it, because you're not expecting to have it. It's kind of like this weird thing. So yeah, I don't know how to separate these two. Maybe Reckless is a little bit more exciting one, perhaps.
Reckless probably just slightly above the new, because again, Reckless is going to help you win the game potentially more than the new vampire, just with the bite, ambush and bite. Those extra, a couple of points you get from a fangs early in the game could be the difference at the end of it to winning it. As I say, it can take an extra move away from it. So, and again, you're not getting that. So yeah, the new vampire is very much do what you can at that process, and the Reckless is there to get some damage with it. And again, if it matures, you're getting 4 plus the 3. You're only getting 6 with this. So I think Reckless has got to be above the new vampire.
Alright, cool. And then we'd say probably aristocratic the weakest, just because you can't fight with it. What it is.
The problem is hunters are never if they search it, they're never not going to select stake. So unless they come across it and find out that it's an aristocratic, then you can decide, right, I've done that where I've not bothered searching. If you know what it is, say you've used deduction on wax cylinders and you're like, it's aristocratic, right, well, what I'll do is I'll just delay myself and keep the stake, but most of the time when they search it, it's like, but as soon as it comes up, Dracula has graciously chosen not to ambush you. Well, he's not. He hasn't got a choice. Because otherwise I'd be jumping on all over your ass. So you kind of got an idea that it's going to be aristocratic. So again, it's 4, and yeah, it's good. It's good to double up on a trail if you want to do a hide and do a defensive card with it. But again, you're then
especially beginning of the game. That's kind of where you see these aristocrats being played. You see them being played early as like trying to get the first thing to mature, and then you play hunter, like the fighter vampires later. I think the good thing. I mean, that sounds like a bit of a weird way of putting it, but like aristocratic arc, because as you said, like hunters are never not going to search for the stake because of the risk that if they don't search for the stake, then it is a fighter vampire. Like, oh shit, I could have killed it. I've got to fight this thing. If you use the aristocratics to burn stakes, then that's really good, because then if the more stakes are burned on aristocratics, the fewer stakes there are for fighter vampires, and they're the ones which are can be really annoying. And also just the delay could be good if they do search it at night and then like, oh, they lose a day action. I mean, that's not bad, really.
I've done that in games. If I've got a hand with 2 aristocratics sitting there, and we're getting towards end game, and it's like, fuck it, I'll throw it down.
Yeah.
Because they have to address it. If they don't, it's going to be 4 points. And if they haven't got any stakes, because usually by that stage they've either used them up or whatever it might be, then and again, another card in here that you can use a stake on as well, that could burn it also. Then throw them down. Or don't use them on a layer because it doesn't trigger, because you can't ambush. So don't use these on layers. It's just a waste of time. But stick them down, on a trail, and again, the hunter can either decide, well, I'll leave it or I'm going to get delayed. But again, at that end of the game, you want to try and get away from the hunters as much as you can. So, yeah, it's a very defensive. It's very reactory to the hunter. So this would be 3rd out of the 3, I would say.
That's interesting. You might have noticed from some of my recordings, I actually put aristocratic vampires into layers. Now the reason, and obviously now I'm fully fucking aware I can't ambush. That's not the issue. It would be if I'm in a situation where I have other stuff that I want to keep from my hand, and I want to cycle through the deck quick because I want to get that 3rd fog back or whatever. Trying to just doing all that stuff. I will put aristocratics into layers, especially if it's late in the game, because I'll be thinking, well, it all depends, of course, on where exactly I am in relation to the hunters. But if I've got a sneaky suspicion that there's going to be a fight really soon, me putting down aristocratic is fucking useless, because the hunters will just move on to my space and go, oh, you're not ambushing. Okay, cool then, we'll just pile in with everybody, and then I can't do anything. There's nothing that I can use to defend myself, and I don't want to be sitting there with like 3 aristocratics late game if I need them to defend myself. So I will put them into layers sometimes, not because I know they're not going to mature and they're not going to be able to ambush. It's just so I can cycle through my encounter deck quicker, rather than putting something else. It just depends on what I've got, and sometimes I do end up in situations where I have maybe 2 fighter vampires, like an aristocratic, a hoax, and a fog. I'm like, well, I'm not going to put a fucking fog into a layer. I'm not going to put a fighter vampire. So I'm going to put the hoax or the aristocratic. Well, fuck it, I'll just put one of, either the aristocratic or the hoax in. It all just depends on the situation. But then again, maybe another player might argue, oh, then you're not being a good Dracula player because you're not organising your encounters well enough. So you always have one shit encounter to get into a layer. But it depends on how the game is gone.
I can see that. Again, it's as you say, it depends on what part of the game it's at. And again, to me, I would use aristocratics on a trail because, like you're right. If you've got 2 hunters bearing down on you, it's probably not the right time to do it. But I would always try and use it on a trail, because on a layer, it doesn't matter. They're never going to search it. It can't mature. If it's on a trail, there's the risk that they have to deal with it, because it's going to be 4 points if they don't. If they do and they don't have a stake, they're going to get delayed for the following day, which again is just as good as anything else. I get your point. If you've got a few in there, then you're like, oh, right, okay. But typically, it just comes down to what stage of the game I think is when you would play the card appropriately.
I think a lot of it is also down to like flexibility. Like I like to have a flexibility of options with my encounter cards. And if I've got like a lot of aristocrats, because sometimes because there's quite a lot of these vampires, they all get bunched up together. And like, well, I don't want all of my vampires in my hand. I want other stuff. So it's like, well, I'll chuck an aristocratic into the lair, and I'll get something else like a bats or a desoil or something else, just to give me that little bit of flexibility, right? Or bats, or so I can do something a little bit different here, rather than oh shit, I have to put down a vampire next turn. It's just the way it is. Yeah.
Yeah. Do you use Dark Call often throughout a game?
I don't actually. I think we had this conversation a while ago. I mean, Darkhold would be great. I have been getting through quite a lot of my games as Dracula because I've done a lot of land movement. I've been trying to restrict sea movement a lot,
Right.
and I've
Yeah.
been getting through my encounter deck quickly enough anyway. I think
Alright,
my
cool.
issue is I'm still really much of the opinion that early I want to put down as much stuff as possible to just delay the hunters. If you're having too many turns where you have to dark call and then think, oh right, now I'm gonna have to feed later because I've obviously got a 2 health deficit now. You're just not moving. You're not putting down stuff, and like and also why I'm kind of against hide trick a little bit, even though I have been using quite a lot in the league. So yeah, fucking massive hypocrite over here. But if you get found really early, your trail is so fucking short. And I'm like, no. I don't know. It's not that. I guess I'm not saying this is the right way to play. It's just the way instinctively I just think about the game. I want the hunters to have so much to deal with, especially the fact that it's highly unlikely that the first thing I put down, if it's a hoax or a vampire, it's not going to mature because they're most likely going to find newspaper reports. If they don't find newspaper, then fucking great. I'll take the 7 points, thanks. But I just operate under the assumption I'm going to get found, and whatever thing I put down in that first location is not going to mature. So I want to leave as long as trail as possible of stuff that they have to fucking deal with, while then I will form away or do whatever. If I'm dark calling and stuff, then I'm just making it, even though I'm giving myself more options. I'm not putting the hunters under as much pressure. I don't know. It's just how I feel about it. I'd probably only dark call if my starting hand was utter pish, like absolute gash, like trash stuff. If I had like double saboteur, double rats, and a wolves, I'd be like, right, I'm going to dark call here. But if I've got at least 1 or 2 decent things coming in every turn, then at least for the first couple of turns, if I'm putting down like cannon fodder for like the 3rd, 4th, 5th space, then fine, I'll do it. So,
yeah, it's interesting, isn't it? It's like there's the players that we played when it wasn't involved in a league. There used to be the kind of meta where it would be misdirect, card, dark call, feed.
Yeah.
And then, if it got past the Wednesday, if newspaper reports weren't revealed, then it's a case of, right, they've done this, they've got a full hand, away they go. In all my games, nobody's ever gone down that route because it's a tournament. And it just shifts their whole, I haven't got time, as you say, I haven't got time. If it gets found on day 5 and I've only placed 1 fucking trail, you're not going to do it. So, yeah, you're right, the tournament does push it. I think with Dark Call as well, and we'll come on to one, obviously Desecrated Soil does a similar,
yes,
but with added value as well. So if you can get them placed down, I just think it's like you said, the dark call aspect. Yeah, I mean, if you get it and you get the cards you need, it can help you. Just means that rather than having to, like you were saying, throw cards, for example, the aristocratic, rather than throw it down a layer and just to waste it, if you dark call, you can get the cards you need and then still use them if you need to. It just gives you another, especially if you've got a layer that's not been revealed. You can go back there and throw down other stuff. But yeah, I agree. It's
if dark call was like Desecrated Soil, where you could actually discard the cards you didn't want.
Yes.
Then maybe, but the fact you're like, I haven't actually.
You're stuck with the ones you get.
Yeah, I haven't accelerated through the deck. I've just got more options now, but I'm not anywhere closer to finishing the deck. So I'm gonna have to place all these cards eventually. So
yeah. Yeah, I agree.
So I don't know how.
So we've got Reckless 1, New Vampire 2, and Aristocratic 3rd.
Yeah, that seems fair to me.
Agree with that? Yeah.
And we spent 33 minutes talking about fucking vampires, so well done. That's fucking impressive. That is good. Right.
Hey, we're fucking battering through it now. We're cooking with gas, mate. That's quicker than this time yesterday we dealt with 1 card, so we're doing well.
How about the others? We just go through in alphabetical order, maybe? Or is there any in particular you really want to talk about first because they're like really powerful? Or
so yeah, I've kind of. Where's my little photograph that I took? Wait a minute. Let me just work it out. Turn my phone on. Bear with me. So I'd kind of grouped them into. I probably should have sent this over to you. Into kind of like roughly what it's not a lot of tiers. I've got 2 at the top, and then I've got two rows of 4 out with the vampires. The 2 top I had were the fog and the bats. I had grouped into a similar, because they do virtually the same thing.
Yeah.
To an extent, but you know what I mean. They can delay a lot.
Yes.
They're powerful. The dogs can't affect either. Obviously, forewarn can, but dogs can't, which is good.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah, they're unless you have forewarned, they're just completely uncounterable. Yeah.
And you've got 2 of each, and you've only got 2 forewarned in the hunter's deck. So again, if they burn the forewarned, or as we spoke about the other day, if you manage to burn them on a Emmanuel Hildesheim or whatever it might be, all of a sudden fogs and bats are happy days. You can use them to. One of the things I've written down about the kind of whole thing with the Drac events, because then it can be, relatively, they can be resolved quickly by hunters, and we'll go through that. There's not a case of, oh fuck, this is going to really tie them up, and we're talking outside the vampires now. They can be pretty much dealt with a conventional weapon, So you want to try and get, I think we were talking about yesterday's kind of planning ahead. You want to try and get sort of chain combos going on with your cards. So if you've got a bats, obviously, is on there. The bats, you place a bat token under the hunter when the hunter would perform their next. And the good thing is their next action. So if you don't have to ambush with this. They search at night. Then the following day you move them, and then they're delayed at night.
Yeah,
which is fucking huge.
Yeah, it's entirely up to
also,
you. You could ambush with this or not ambush. There's lots of I see arguments to both. I mean, you
the good thing is it can reveal if a hunter's got a stake. If you don't ambush during the day, knowing you're not going to lose it.
That's true.
Because if you ambush and they got forewarned, you're going to lose it.
That's true. Whereas if it's
they
might think it's an aristocratic or a hoax, and they search like, no, it's bats instead. Sorry, and then
Yeah, I wouldn't want to ambush with bats because 4-1 burns it, and all of a sudden you've lost it. And again, you then move them to an adjacent city. So depending how you've played your game, if you've got a couple of layers within the vicinity, you can then throw them back, and that can then trigger, and you can do additional damage, whatever it might be. So yeah, I like to keep bats. They're good. Good cards to have, and again, it's only the 4-1 that can burn it, so you can work around it.
So there's a couple of things I want to highlight. So firstly, Bats has no mature effect, which can be a little bit irritating, and the number of times I have had hunters just, the one card on the trail they fucking ignore is Bats, and you're just like, oh, why? Fucking why?
There is that.
It's so
There is that, yeah.
The other thing, though, that's very interesting is, it's the hunter that would perform their next action. So if you use bats on Dracula's current location and a hunter comes in, you can ambush them with the bats, but then they don't get pushed away until after the combat.
Good point, yeah.
So you can't use it to protect yourself. Yeah. However, this is where there's a really cool thing going on. If you play Renewed Vigor, and the hunter has moved in onto the bat's location on their first Renewed Vigor action, based upon the way the card is written, their next action would be under Renewed Vigor, so the bats then triggers, so you'd actually move them away. So that's a really cool thing. So it's kind of like a little...
We had that in a game, didn't we? Were we watching a game when that happened, or was that in a game we played against somebody?
That wasn't... What happened was, I think that was a game that we played, or no, I were watching, but we didn't even realise the interaction between Renewed Vigor and bats, because we were just so fucking focused on everything else and wouldn't
that's it, it was a 3-on-1 or something. Yeah.
I only then afterwards, I think it was Warecraft, put it in like the discussion in Discord. It was just like, oh yeah, by the way, how does Renewed Vigor and bats work? Because I feel like they should have pushed away the hunter, and I suddenly read it, I was like, oh shit, yeah, you're right. So that's actually a really interesting interaction. I think digital doesn't do it correctly, but there's so many small interactions with this game, it's very hard to account for all of them. But yeah, so it's not as powerful as Fog because it can't stop combat in that sense, but you can really fuck around the hunters because the fact you move them away, then you delay them, you can push them into a lair or some other thing. If you ambush with them, then you push them away at night. If Long Night is active, it technically counts as a move, so you could get a Dracula card from it. You could push them into a fighter vampire, and you ambush them then, and then it's a night combat, not a day combat. So then that could be devastating depending on the situation of like health and items and stuff. So there's a lot of cool things you can do with bats. I like putting bats into layers as well. This is something I've started doing in the league, and it's actually been pretty successful for me. Because often hunters will, especially if it's a really obscure city, no. But if it's a high traffic zone like a port or something, the hunters might go, oh, I need to get onto this fucking port. Oh fuck it, I'll just go onto the lair and I'll take the 2 damage from rats or whatever it is. I'm like, oh no, it's bats. Sorry. So now you're gonna get pushed away from it, and you get delayed, and you're not on the port anymore. So you have to take another turn to get back there. It can actually be pretty annoying. I had to get Mr. Green where he blew a 4-warned just on a lead bat. So it's like, well, that's fucking worth it.
Wow.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's a good point. Yeah, the bats I would use on layers, as you say, if there was nothing else, to kind of, okay, if I've got an area where I'm trying to protect a vamp that's going to mature, then stick bats, or if it's a layer that's been discovered. Because again, they might, as you say, they'll go, who's going to throw down bats on a layer? It's a pretty good card. They probably just throw down Saboteur or blah, blah. And as you say, yeah, you stick it on there, and then, yeah, again, the only concern about if you ambush during the day is if they have got forewarned. But again, it's a fact is, well, will they risk using it? Because normally they hold forewarned for fog.
That's the
Would
thing,
they want
right?
to use it on bats? Or do they take the damage? But as you say, then you throw them into another location, and then at night time they fight a vam. So yeah, it's very there's a lot of benefits to this. And again, I like these cards that have got multiple uses depending on how you play them.
Mm-hmm.
Again, if it's a chain combo, you want to try and they could leave one area, move, and get put back there, and all of a sudden it's like
Yeah.
So yeah, bats was there, and then obviously fog. Again, depending on how you view it, but again, they're both very strong. Obviously, fog is more powerful. That's it. There you go. That's the one. It begins, on a port, because then you get the 2 night. If you ambush during the day, then obviously the first night 1 token goes, so you don't get as long as you may think you have.
Yeah.
If they search at night, then obviously forewarned is irrelevant, and then you get 2 nights of them being delayed.
So you'd only really ambush if it's like Dracula's current location, because you want to protect yourself immediately.
Yeah.
But if it's not your current location, just wait for them to do it, because it actually stays up for longer. Yeah, it's...
And if it's a city landlocked, you only get 1 day of fog. So again, it's not really. I know I've seen it done, and it can be if you're really struggling to get away, or you've got a wolf form ready to go. It could be useful that you're going to delay them for a night move, but then the next day they're ready just to move on, and all of a sudden it doesn't really stop anything. So mostly, again, experienced hunters, if there's something landing on a port and it says that you're not, graciously not ambushed, you've got to assume it's a fog. But again, that then allows the Drac player to decide, well, actually, do we just throw something else down and keep the fog, and then use it again? Do you use it at the beginning of the game? Do you use it at the end of the game? When you're, the game I had the other night, I managed to cycle through the whole deck, and I got a 3rd fog back, which won me the game, because the player jumped on me with Van Helsing, who had heroic leap, and was going to do sacrifice himself just to take 5 off Drac, but I did fog and Null and Void. That was it. So, I think, I don't know, it's difficult. Both bats, I'd say, is more versatile because of what you can do with it, depending on it. I would say that bats plays into more of the strategy that you're trying to weave around a player.
Yes.
Fog is there that again, and it only triggers if somebody searches it. Because again, if you ambush during the day, you're effectively losing a night's action, and certainly delay. And if it's on a port, most hunters will assume that, okay, well, how many fogs have you played already? If you haven't played any and Behind the Veil hasn't revealed any, you're going to be thinking, right, this probably has to be one. Do you want to burn a forewarned? Or do you just want to delay your hunter? I mean, they might just go, fuck it, first night I can't do anything, that's fine. Second day I can supply, because that's a point to make. You're not delayed for the full 2 days. To me, it should be, if it's fog for the 2 days, it should almost be like you can do nothing with your hunter for that period. That would make it a hell of a lot more. Right, do we look at this? Do we not? Because then the next day you can heal, you can supply, you can trade.
The only
It's
thing you can't do is you can't search. So if you can use Unnatural Fog as a Guardian card for like something that's going to mature, and if you're
on day 6, if it comes into day 6,
and if you get the timing right, you can do it so that the hunter gets delayed with the fog, and then they can never, and even though they're not delayed anymore, they can never search it until after it matures. But then again, because you're going to have to ambush with it, so you get 1 day less, and it's just, it's tricky. There are other cool things you can probably do with fog, like if you put it, so I tried to do it in the game, in the league, it didn't work, because Seward didn't move the fog. I put a vampire in Nantes, and I thought, I'll put a fog in Bordeaux, so then when when Seward moves from Madrid up to Bordeaux, I can fog it, and then they're stuck there for a couple of days, and then they can't get out, and then that causes problems. So yeah, there are things you can do. I think the things with fog, when you read the card, you're like, oh, this is really basic, and you're like, no. Get the rules reference out, and it's like it's like the explanation for fog is like inches thick on its own. You stop combat. It's not like compulsory. Dracula has the choice if they want to have combat with the hunter or not. Every single turn, Dracula can sit there and then feed freely before leaving. Assuming it's on a port city, obviously. You can't search with it. Hunters can't move out. They can't move in. It's just, yeah, it's a big, like, I agree with you. Bats is more versatile and it's probably like cooler for combos. But fog is just like unless you got full ward, it's like the safe, reliable. Fuck you, hunters.
Is, yeah.
You're not doing anything button, basically. But the point.
And the thing is, again, yeah, if the hunters haven't got fast horses, for example, or they don't, the hunters around you don't have it, and normally most of the, well, not most, yeah, a few of the ports are on rails. So, say for example, Marseille, Bordeaux. If you stick on Marseille and they're in Toulouse or Clermont, you know, they can't get round it via train. They have to use one by one if they haven't got fast horses.
Yes.
So you can delay them even longer. If you don't have to feed, you can be 3 cities away by the time it clears. And then they've got to decide what they want to do. And you could then rule form and be 5 cities away. So I agree, it's great. I love it. I mean, that's why I put them both up there as probably, you know, the strongest out of them you can have on there.
Yeah.
Again, if a hunter doesn't bother searching, then it becomes academic because they might just think. Oh, another point as well, incidentally, it's mature. So
Yes.
Unlike the bats, as Scot-sword said, if this isn't searched by a hunter and they're still in the area, you can then place this fog on a city in that area. 2 tokens. So all of a sudden, if you've got it in Cadiz and they decide not to do anything with it and it matures and they're sitting in Madrid, you can then place 2 fog tokens in Madrid, which is effectively a port night action, and that does the same as we just said. That covers you for 2 days. So you have to deal with the fog, unless, of course, if there's nobody in that region, then it does fuck all. But that's probably a kind of might put it a little bit above the bats because it does have a matured effect if they don't clear it.
Yeah. I
think both of them are very strong cards to have.
I think the issues with fog as a disadvantage. I mean, it's extremely powerful, but the big issue is, of course, you know, hunters are going to be saving the full ward for this, and also, the longer that Dracula holds on to fog, the more likely it is that hunters will get behind the veil and they'll just snipe the fog away. So there's an argument maybe you don't rely on fog as much, and you just put down fog, you know, more readily, like you would do with bats and other encounters. So then, if behind the veil gets taken, it's less likely to get sniped. So it's kind of like this interesting dynamic when Dracula gets fog. Is like, do I hold on to it? Try and save it for the 4th week when I might need it to defend myself. Do the hunters have food? It's all about that little. It's again cat and mouse with it a little bit. Yeah.
Yeah, that's an interesting point you made because I was going to bring that up actually. That's in my notes. But the amount of time behind the layer is played. If fog is in Dracula's hand, almost 100% of hunters will remove the fog. So it shows you how powerful a card this is. Because surely you'd be thinking, right, okay, there's a new vampire, a reckless, a fog. You know, do you want to get rid of the vampires? Because the fog isn't going to score them any points. No. But every time, if there's a fog there, hunters take it. So it just shows you how powerful it can be and how much, you know, how wary the hunters are. That the first thing they do is, fuck it, get rid of the fog, we can deal with the hunters or, you know, or the vampires. Well, the vampires might kill you because we've just spoken about the new and the reckless, but they never get removed. You know, that would save a stake. So
that's the thing, like there's a very easy item counter to a vampire, which is a stake. Whereas there's no apart from Forewarned, there's only 2 of them in a deck of 75 encounter cards. Oh, encounter cards, event cards. Sorry. There's no other counter to fog. So and it can literally be the thing that wins Dracula the game. And it's just,
well, that's it. And so that's why I put it up there because I was thinking about that. It's like behind the veil, every time it's played, fog is the card that people are going to remove. And for those that are new to the game, if you get behind the veil and fog is there, remove it.
Yeah.
Don't think about getting rid of vampires or whatever. Just get rid of the fog because then that can, you know, it's going to save you headache along the way. So
here's an interesting question then. Since you rated bats so highly, if you got behind the veil and there were vampires and there was also a bat, would you get rid of a vampire or would you get rid of the bat?
Well, the bats, because the reason you've just given, you know, you've got stakes in other areas you can actually do to kill a vampire. Bats is a case of, you know, if you don't and you jump on it and you're low on health and then it moves you to a layer all of a sudden. And the fact is, and I've done this in games, that's why I like the bats. And again, it comes down to how it's played. You know, you got a hunter on there that's got 4 health. No, I'm just trying to think. Yeah, there was occasion I had a game I played where I had used bats. I put somebody into a layer. It was a rare occasion that I'd managed to get a double up on a layer that hadn't been revealed. And on there, I had scanning mob, and I had bodyguards, and they removed. Obviously, what had happened is they must have removed their conventional weapon, so they took 2 damage on the mob, and then the bodyguards kicked and they died.
Oh shit!
And it's like fucking happy days. So, again,
never get rid of your conventional weapon, people. Never get rid of your conventional weapon.
I think with this, again, because we've got to have 2 sections where the vampires aren't involved in these events, albeit they are event cards. They're in their own subsection.
Yes,
For these ones,
I agree.
I would remove bats because, like you said, you can deal with hunters easier, or maybe not necessarily easier, but you can deal with hunters, whereas bats can lead to a lot of hassle. So
I think it'd have to be a case of, if I got it, I'd have to hopefully remember how many stakes I'd already got. And it's like, if I think I've got enough stakes already to deal with it, but depending on the point of the game, if I've had to ditch lots of stakes because maybe I've had this before where Van Helsing ends up with 3 fucking stakes, I'm like, well, I'm gonna have to ditch at least one of these. Then if my stake situation is really bad, if I haven't got them out the deck yet, or they've been supplied really awkwardly, then I'd contemplate getting rid of a vampire. But if not, then yeah, probably get rid of the bats. It wouldn't be.
I feel that's not really an issue.
It wouldn't be an immediate vampire get rid of. I think it'd be quite a contextual choice. I think. I could definitely see if I see a player getting rid of bats with Behind the Veil, in my opinion, totally legitimate choice. Completely legitimate. Yeah.
But I feel the way the game's been played now, that hunters burn through the deck so quick, their item deck, that getting rid of a stake early, it's like, well, okay, I'm going to get that back, and by the end of the week, if all the hunters are supplying and burning, you could get those. The stakes are always going to be retrievable if hunters are doing their supplies, or you've got the option to trade with another hunter or what have you. So you've got that option there regarding it. Whereas a game with the bats, it's almost like, well, once you've landed it, and you're going to, here's a question for you: if you had 1 forewarned, would you use it on a bats, or would you keep it knowing that both fogs were still out there?
Oh, I think I'd keep the 4-1 for a fog.
So there we go. I think we've got fog's just above bats, but they're both in the top tier.
Yeah, I'd say so. Yeah, I think bats is not to be underestimated. You look at it and go, oh shit, can't mature. You can do some really annoying shit with this card, really, and you can really fucking annoying a hunter player. Every time I get it and it's a bat, I'm like, oh fuck, really? Because oh shit, I'm having to move the wrong direction. I could be pushed into a lair, and then you lose potentially if it's an ambush, it's the day action, or worse, or you're just losing the whole day anyway. Oh fucking really? Yeah, it's not to be underestimated. Don't look at this card and think, oh, it's got no maturity effect, it's crap. No. You have to think about what it can do otherwise, and it's very strong. I think it's very strong.
Yeah.
Okay, so I guess. Yeah. Okay. So there's no official tier, but these two, bats and fog, clearly top tier out of all the non-vampire things. Okay.
Yeah, they're the ones I had, kind of just throwing it together. So, and then I've kind of got 2 layers, 2 rows of 4.
Cool.
Yeah. So you agree that the 2 of them should be kind of at the top then?
I'd say so. Yeah.
Again, we're talking out with the vampires. These are just now your conventional event cards. So, yeah, the best of the rest, if you like.
So what do you have? Since you're better organised than me, do you want to tell me what you want to talk about, and I'll flick through to the library.
Right. Okay. Yeah. So flip through to spy card for me, please. My lovely assistant will. There we go. So yeah, these are kind of, again, I've used these, and again, spy. It's strange how this game works. When I first started playing it, people would burn spy at the fucking look of it. And I think that changed because the whole fast horse and the horse economy and blah blah blah. Spy is, people need to look at what spy does before they just burn it for something else. It used to be seen as almost spy, wolves, rats, fuck it, get rid of it. And I'll hold my hand up. When I started playing it, I was like, what? They lose. They show, oh no, fuck, that doesn't do anything. It doesn't delay them, it doesn't damage them, and I would just burn it. And then it's a case of, right, hang on, let me just have a look at what this does. Especially on the hunters that have only 3 items. Especially if a hunter's got a fast horse and a stake, then okay, if they haven't got a weapon, you get to see their whole hand, which is all their events and their items. and the
And
good thing is they have to discard their tickets.
And that's going to fuck up the horse economy. And as it came up in the Fast
Exactly.
Horses video I did, that one of the main ways that, and probably the most reliable way that Dracula can fuck with the ticket economy is with spies. Now, there's only 2 of them, but yeah, if you get it at the right time, yeah, you can. Because it's not inconceivable that hunters are going to run around with no weapon. I am, because I really rate spy. I am really, really against hunters running around with no conventional weapon. I really hate Fast Horses stake Heavenly Host. I will, maybe controversially, I will ditch the Heavenly Host for a weapon. For me, because of this, I rate weapons. I know in terms of combat strength, weapons are worse than Heavenly Host. That's the thing with this game, you can't have everything. But for me, because of the risk of something like this, and you spend so many fucking turns trying to get a white one out of that deck, and then Spy comes along, and you're fucking back to square one again, and then you're playing on a knife edge the entire game, and you don't know when that white one's going to come out and fucking ruin it. I think I really rate Spy. I think it's, again, I definitely agree, totally underrated card. But you can do some really cool things with it too. Again, I'm probably giving too many strategies here, but like you can chain these. If you put these side by side, often it'll be the same hunter who will check them. So they'll go to the first spy, oh well, I'll burn my weapon, that's fine, I'll supply and get another one. And they move forward onto the next one. Oh, I've got no weapon now. Oh, fuck. So this, Dracula could use it to defend himself if he knows it's going to be probably like a 1v1 fight at some point soon. You could put it down, so the hunter will walk on, and then the hunter's then forced to make a choice. Do I want to reveal everything, or do I want to discard my only weapon? I'm about to go into a fight with Dracula. So, especially if it's Seward, that's not going to work as well, because obviously Seward is just an absolute badass and can just carry all the weapons he wants. But for the others, yeah, you can use it in almost like a defensive way, but like you are being aggressive because you're forcing the hunters to make these awkward choices when they don't want to be making awkward choices.
And again, the good thing, and if they don't want to do that, and they just kind of they don't discard, again, the risk is, well, you pretty much you have to discard unless you can't. But also, if it's missed, if somebody just goes, you know what, we'll just leave this one. It does have a resolve matured effect as well, which is good, and it allows you to choose it against any hunter. You don't have to be in a region; it can be anywhere on the map. And if you know that hunters have got a certain, you've managed to deduce, oh right, well they must have this because they played that in the last hand, for example. Then you can say, right, okay, I'm going to slap this on Mina. Mina then has to then lose that, and again, that could be the difference between if at night she's due to fight a vampire, or one of the hunters are, and this matures, then all of a sudden your scenario just kicks into effect where, okay, well, do you want to get rid of that weapon now? Do you want to show me what you've got? So yeah, and again, very underrated. I think now so probably less because Fast Horses become such a fucking big thing that everyone's just after it. If you've got, and again, the other reason why never keep 2 white ones on one hunter.
No, absolutely not.
So, I mean, for Dracula, it could be fucking great because all of a sudden, Cheerio, you're going to spend all your nights hunting away for 2 white ones again. Yeah, so I liked it. It doesn't necessarily, and again, I think on the front of it, it was because it doesn't do any damage, doesn't delay, but it could reveal a hell of a lot for Dracula. And this game's all about deduction for Drac as well, so it can let you have a nice insight into what a hunter has.
The more information you can eke out bit by bit, it's going to be very valuable. I know with supplying that it's going to move stuff around, but events are pretty, until events are played, events stay pretty fixed, unless you can see that they got like trash events. But still, having that information is just great. It's just the fact you can still fuck around with the hunters. The hunters might have worked really hard to get an item combo that they really like, if it's Fast Horses, weapon, stake, or Fast Horses, Heavenly Hose, weapon, or whatever, and then suddenly like, oh no, I'm going to fuck with this now. Again, I wouldn't say it's like top tier, but it is really good, and I think even still now it's a little bit underrated. I think I don't know. I think maybe I don't know. I do like it.
Yeah, I think it is. Yeah, I mean, I kind of had this up here. The next one. So again, these are kind of. So the way I've got it started is I've had 2 at the top and then 2 layers of 4 is kind of just how I've thrown this down again with the vampires at the side. So Spy was here. The next one I've got is the Mob. Again, I think quite an underrated card.
Wrong way. There you go.
Yeah. So again, this might be different because I'm looking at these from sort of chain combo play. Playing it on its own, okay. But if you've got this sitting down in a layer, or the aforementioned bats can be used to throw this into a mob or whatever it might be, It's very good for Seward, but then again it kind of counters it because Seward might get rid of 4 cards if he doesn't like them, or he takes 4 damage, but then in 2 nights he's back up again anyway.
Yes.
I do like it because again sometimes it's when they land on it. Again, this is one that you would. It can be countered by dogs, I should say.
Yeah, that is an issue, but then
that's the only. So again, I wouldn't really ambush with it because again you want them to search it at night. They either get rid of the cards or they keep hold of it, which again about giving Drac information unwillingly, because if they don't get rid of 3 in their hand, you kind of think, right, they're 3 cards they like, so it's probably going to be a Heavenly Host, a Stake, whatever it might be. So if they do then decide to discard 2 out of 3, for example, all you do is jump to the discard item pile and you can see what they've discarded.
Yeah.
And then it gives you, right, they got rid of a knife and a rifle. Interesting. So now they probably don't have a conventional. So again, you can just start to picture bits and bits about the hunters without them telling you anything. You can try and piece together what you like. It also, again, has a matured effect, which is great because the good thing about this is, and I've had this happen, if you've got 3 hunters in Spain, for example, and then Drac fucks off to sea and they're still there and this matures, every hunter in the region will be affected by this. So every one of them has to decide whether, now that could just be, Mina's just had a battle with Drac, he's now gone to sea, she's on 2 health, she's got 2 cards, she's going to get rid of both cards, or maybe 1. But they all have to do it. And again, is what we're talking about, it's just unexpected damage that you don't, Drac doesn't have to be the guy out there dishing out the damage. These cards are here to help and delay and chip away at the health. So yeah, I do like it. I do like the mob because again, you can do damage regardless.
The other thing that's cool about it is either it's the search effect or it's the ambush effect. It's each hunter on the city, not the hunter that got ambushed.
Yeah.
So you can do things where you can just wait and go, no, I'll just wait. And then other hunters might move into the city. Again, you can use it maybe as Dracula to defend yourself a little bit and wait for the hunters to pile in, then you trigger it, and then they take a lot of damage before the fight, and then it's like, oh shit, now we're in a more vulnerable position and we're going to fight Dracula. Dracula could be full health or whatever. Or you just go, or even if it's Dracula's far away from where the mob is, he's like, oh well, no, you can search it at night, I don't care. And then it could be potentially where multiple hunters get hit by it. I must admit, I've been underrating this card a little bit recently. I think just because of the way my games have gone, I just end up with lots of like better encounters. I'm just like, oh fuck it, right? Mob has to go into the lair. But I do like it. I think it's an interesting thing. Also because of the fact that the way the damage works, you can end up doing odds amount of damage. So then those hunters, not Van Helsing, but the others who have odds amount of health, you could take them down to an even amount, and then it makes it easier for you to kill them later and this sort of thing. So,
well, this is it, yeah. Because I mean, if you do it at night time, then the following day, are they going to heal during the day? No. Are they going to move? Perhaps. But then all of a sudden, you can hit them with, I mean, you could have mob, and the following one, if they don't heal and they move the next day one location and get hit by rats, which will come on it doesn't matter. I'm dead. You could be killed by rats because the mob's done the damage. And I'm with you. If I've got mob in my hand, I would like to have that as a layer because I've won games in the past with it. But again, tying that up with the bats and going back to the kind of combo stuff.
Now comboing mob and bats would be nice. Yeah.
Yeah. That's a good damage there. If you've got 2 on a layer, or if you've got, I mean, I've even done it where I've done 2 mobs on a trail and a hide. If I've had nothing in my hand, I'm like, fuck it, because this damage, if the first one they turn and go, oh well, fuck this, I'll just get rid of these and heal tonight, then obviously the second one comes out and they've no items to get rid of. It's like, right, well, fair enough. But it's great for Seward because if he decides I'm not getting rid of any, he takes 4 damage, and then the second one triggers, he's in a case of, right, well, now what are you going to do, motherfucker? Do you keep it? Or, I mean, you're going to have to then start getting rid of your cards. So they're good, some might say that's a waste of a hide, but you play with the cards you're given, that's all you can do, and you can do potential damage with it. Yeah. And again, if you've got both on a hide trail and 2 hunters join, and they both get hit double mob, they could both be leaving there with 1 health, and all of a sudden, that's a long, Godalming the tank of the group, if you like, that's going to take him a fucking long time to get, he's going to be scared to jump on anything after that.
Yeah, absolutely. And then you could get...
I like that, because again, it's got the matured effect, which is good.
Indeed, yeah. I don't know if I've ever had mob mature though. It's just been timings and things. It hasn't worked out. But
there's only one purely by chance I had. It was one where I was playing Quincy.
Yeah, I saw the video. Yeah.
See that one? Yeah, I think it was in Marseille or Toulouse or somewhere, and he had 3 in France, and it was like, right, so, all right, okay, that's fine. Van Hels, hang on, and he was like, I didn't realise all 3 got hit with this. So, that took 3 damage off each hunter, which is like, happy days. And again, people kind of look at it and go, do you know what, do I let a mob mature? Again, if you're not in the region, you can just leave it. That's the only issue, and it can be cancelled with dogs. But
that's the problem too.
Compared to the other stuff, it's not, if again, doing the whole letting them search at night negates the dog. Well, no, they still burn it with a dog, but
and they'll keep the dog. But I think the good.
How many hunters keep dogs?
Well, that's the thing. The meta we play, dogs isn't really used much.
No.
And I think, if you see a hunter running around with dogs, it's annoying that you lose the mob or whatever. But at the same time, it's like, you've got fucking dogs. You have nothing else, right? If you're
gonna get fucked soon.
Yeah, it's just nothing. So yeah, I think that's another thing too. I didn't. Yeah, I think maybe we said it anyway. With like the bats, with the whole hide trick, it used to be the thing where you put saboteur. But now it's becoming a little bit more common to do bats instead, because bats can't be countered by a dog's play. Is bats as good as saboteur? It depends. If the hunter has a conventional weapon, then another hunter can just walk onto there anyway. But the fact you have to commit 2 hunters to it, and bats is a little bit more decisive. If you do it a day early, that's the thing. Saboteur only works if it's like the final day, or they can't search it at night. But if they get the bats like a day earlier, the bats would actually push them back, and they won't be able to get there before it matures again. They lose their day action in the next day. So yeah, sorry, I should have mentioned that earlier. Anyway, no, mob's good. Okay, interesting. Did I put it in the top 4 out of those 8? Maybe. Not sure. Okay, well we'll see. We'll see what the others are. We can figure out from there. So we got mob.
Yeah, because up there, got mob there. We've got the mob, spy. I've got desecrated soil.
Yes, I probably agree with that one. Yeah.
I would say obvious reasons, but it's going back to you were saying about it. It does what Dark Call does without you taking damage. You can also, I think one of the things that wasn't noticed about it, which I'd been doing, and people were sort of picking me up in the game saying, I don't think you don't have to accept the 3 cards that are given. It says on here, draw 3 encounter cards, then discard up to 3 cards. So you can have 3 great cards arrive and discard none. So people go, you didn't discard 3 cards. Well, no, it doesn't. Read it again. So if you do get this, people, and you get 3 good cards that you've drawn, keep them. Obviously, it won't generate through the pack because you're not returning anything to it. But you don't have to get rid of one to keep another. I like the fact of this. And again, it can't be ambushed. It can't be cancelled by dogs. And forewarned can, which is probably good to know that. But again, people aren't going to waste a forewarned on desecrated soil, unless
you say that. I've had that more than once where forewarnned's been played on desecrated soil against me. Yeah, they don't want me to get the encounter cards or the health back.
Holy shit!
Yeah.
Wow. Okay. Yeah. So yeah. Okay. Well, usually. Again, it's good that if they want to, if you can, if they want to cancel it and they haven't got forewarned, it's going to be Heavenly Host, so it gives you a good reveal if they have got Heavenly Host.
That, you get the information, which is really critical, yeah.
Which is very critical.
Because the only other way you'll find out is if they play like a CG. There's no other way you'll know they'll have Heavenly Host, unless you get like a spy or something, or they actually play against you in combat. That's the only other way you know. And I think the great thing about it is, if you see there's a lot of like Heavenly Hosts have been discarded early or whatever, you can put it as desecrated soils, because then if the hunter that does Heavenly Host goes onto it, and then you've got to see or whatever, then the hunters have to think, do I let Dracula get this free health back, or do I move a hunter that has Heavenly Host onto this space so he doesn't get free health back and he gets 3 more encounter cards? Oh shit, he's going through the deck quicker. I might get his 3rd fog. Then you're stuck in this sort of awkward situation. But again, if you're forcing the hunters to make awkward decisions, that's then, as Dracula, that's kind of the point. So, yeah. Yeah,
and I like the fact that you can. This is one that I probably would, depending on state of gameplay, if you like, I would probably ambush and they land on it, because in case you might think, well, okay, they're going to search it at night, they might not, or do you then, if they don't have Heavenly Host, then you get 3 during the day. The next time, if someone does jump on it with Heavenly Host, they have to search it first before, because this triggers before Heavenly Host does.
Yes.
That you can then get another 3 cards,
16.
and then Heavenly Host would burn it. So
Yeah.
you could potentially get 6 cards from this. Okay, you're losing 3 damage, 3 health, but that's 6 cards in your hand that I think, again, you've got that choice of how many you want to keep. So you might keep 2 out of the 6, but they could be 2 fogs.
But
You know, so
depending on how you're playing, if you're not going to see much, you might not need the 3 health back.
yeah.
So then,
So it's a good, again, it's one of those that you don't really want to turn to a layer. But then there is an argument that if you land on it, you can ambush. So you could still get 3 cards if they land on a layer if it's high traffic.
yeah.
They're not going to use a Heavenly Host on it because it doesn't do anything. It's just there to give you more cards. So they're not going to burn it, as such on that aspect. But I just like the fact that 3 damage is, I've had it where it has matured and you're like, thank God for that 3 health. I needed that.
Well,
Because then you feed and you're now 5 health. It's like, right, okay, all right, I'm up to 6 health recovered. Right, that's not bad. So
yeah. Was that the game that I won in the league against Mr. Green? I only won that game because he let one of the 2 Discreet Swords mature. Yeah.
And it's easy to forget. You can leave there and kind of go.
I wouldn't have had enough help. Well, no, he knew it was there. His argument was afterwards that he didn't want to give me more cards. He obviously hadn't done the calculation in his head that I needed the 3 health to actually win the game. As soon as he let it mature, I was like, I can now win. I have enough health, I can win now. I don't have to worry about CG and all that stuff. Yeah. So it was very much a misplay on his part. But still, it's one of those things like, 3 health, who cares? And then suddenly at the end, you're like, oh shit, that 3 health is actually what won me the game.
Yeah, I mean, I've had it where, people have kind of looked at it and gone, they've left it. Not, they didn't have, again, I think not because they were worried about the getting cards. It was more about, do I want to waste time on this? Or they just didn't have Heavenly Host on the hunter that was near. They didn't want to backtrack with somebody else because they might be on Drac's trail, and they just leave it, and it's like, nah, it'll be fine. But as you say, then at the end, all of a sudden, that 3 health is a case of, right, okay, if Heroic Loot's been played, and I'm on 10 health, then all of a sudden this matures, I'm back up to 8, and the Heroic Leap's just been pretty much wasted. You've done 5 damage to your hunter. Mm-hmm. So, yeah, I really like this one. Again, it's got multiple uses, and it's a versatile card to have. And I do think some people leave it because they kind of forget about it. It's like, well, Drac's on 5 health. I'm not really bothered. Does he want to get 3? Or, I mean, the problem is obviously if Drac's on full health, then it's null and void.
Yeah. Sure. So
you're still going to get your stock of cards though. So
this is not a card you want to play early. This is a card you want to play slightly later, so you do have those options of getting the health back. Or maybe argue no, because it's less likely early that they wouldn't have Heavenly Host. What I have tried to do sometimes, if I think my vampire early is going to get discovered, I'll put Discreet Soil on the way to the vampire. So when the hunter is going to deal with the vampire, they'll trigger the Discreet Soil. Mm-hmm. So then if the vampire doesn't mature, it doesn't get wasted, kind of thing. And then and they might not have Heavenly Host that early on, so it might stick around. And then you can maybe think, but then if you know the Discreet Soul is going to mature, this is a thing I've done a couple of times, and I've seen played against me too. If I know that Discreet Soul is going to mature, then I'll just Dark Call, because then you get the health back instantly. So then that whole thing about, it's assuming you're safe to do so. Obviously, if I'm surrounded by 3 hunters, I wouldn't play Dark Hole. But if I know I'm safe to do so, it's like, oh fuck it, I'll just play Dark Hole then. So I get even more encounter cards, and I get the health back immediately. So then the whole cost of Dark Hole has just disappeared now.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. Again, it's hopefully what's coming through in the theme of this, this vid is for Drac. If you can chain your combos, chain your cards, you can, they all work well as the sum of the part instead of individual parts. So try and get them to complement each other, rather than just, I've only got this, what am I going to do with it? Well, depending how you mix around with it, you could do, it could work either way. So
it's very tricky because obviously you don't know exactly. You might plan.
You don't know what you get.
Yeah, you don't know what you're going to get, but also you might have an idea. Go, I've got these a couple of encounter cards now. I'll do this little combo. But then if the hunters step on them in the wrong order, then the chain doesn't happen. Be like, you just.
Well, this is I mean, you can only I mean, you've got that outside factor. Yeah. I mean, what you have done is you've done with all everything within your capability, if you like, or action. Set it up, whatever, be a trap or whatever it might be. As you say, if the hunters then don't bother searching it, then it's all academic. But you've done all you can, and again, using the cards in a certain way, a certain process or kind of how they work, then you can. I mean, I've done that in later loop periods. Throw a desk crate down a layer again to get something back for myself if I don't need it, because even if they jump on it, you can still ambush and get 3 health. 3 cards, and again that's the difference with it. So, and again, like you say, if you're playing a hunter who's concerned about you getting cards, then the only thing about it is the hunters don't burn their heavenly host when they reveal it. They just burn this card and keep their heavenly host.
Yeah,
so
they just reveal the
you
heavenly
Drac
host,
players, it won't burn a heavenly host. So don't go thinking it will use this burn heavenly, and next minute you get screwed with 4 health, 4 damage. But that's
no, I'd
that's
agree.
where they're there. So I like it again, and again it's got its mature effect, which is a bonus as well.
Yeah, I like it. I like it too. Yeah, very underrated, I think. I think just the ability to get through your encounter deck as quickly as possible, I think is just really vital as Dracula. So yeah, and plus we try and get through it the second time, to get through that second block, or get into the second round. Yeah, it's nice.
It is, yeah. The next one, so this will be okay. So I've almost got a kind of dual. I couldn't really split these two from this tier, if you like. So Hoax. Oh yeah, you're already on it. Well, Hoax was there, but I do have issues with Hoax. But we'll come on to that. And the other one, kind of dual one, is the Bodyguards.
Okay.
So, I was really kind of like, yeah, I don't really want to put them below, but really, So Hoax, obviously, we all know what it can do. It's like a golden ticket,
Yeah.
But really, if you look back, how many times does a Hoax fucking mature? Do you know what I mean? In my games, if it does, you're like, wow, that was lucky. You can't plan for a Hoax because it does fuck all, because the hunters can use a stake to get rid of it, or they just get delayed. You can't ambush with it.
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah. And it's like, fucking hell, right? Okay, so yes, it's there is 2 of them. Okay, that's fine. But really, I mean, in all the games I've played, it's really one of those that if it does mature, I'm like, oh, that's an added bonus, rather than this is critical to my strategy.
Especially the way that it's played, and at least on our Discord community, where Dracula doesn't really get events anyway. So if you get one, then it's like, oh, cool, great. But you have to operate on the assumption you won't get one the whole game anyway. There have been some times though where if you put down Hoaxes kind of like mid-game, if the hunters are again forced to make awkward decisions, they kind of sit there and go, fuck, I don't really have time to deal with this encounter because I don't know what it is. Oh fuck, I'll just leave it. And the one time they leave it, it's a Hoax, and you feel so good as Jack's like, yeah, you fucking move away from this encounter, yeah. And then you get, it's arguably, I know it doesn't give you points. Is it the best matured effect in the game? Oof, depending on what you can get. The good thing is though, like you take all the Dracula events from the discard pile. If it's like mid game, that's gonna be a lot of Dracula events. You pick the one you want. It's not like you get the top one from the deck. You pick whatever one you want, which could be a manual, so you get even more, or it could be a swiftness or whatever you want, and then you shuffle the entire event deck again. So you fucked up. If they've trying to get towards really top events which are sort of buried in the middle of the deck, you've now fucked that all over, and they don't know where it is anymore. As the actual like trail card itself, it's not great. It's only good once it matures, or you maybe get a good delay on a hunter maybe once in a blue moon, a delay at night, which is then really vital that they can't do their day action the next day. But yeah, the matured effect's great, but the actual trail card,
it's a real, you're struggling with it to find what you want on there. Again, one of the ones that you can find, is almost you throw it down after you've got a rumour token with a vampire, because there could be times where hunters usually, not always, but sometimes might think, right, okay, well, you probably, you're hoping that's going to mature. You probably followed it up with shit cards because you don't mind them burning, and it could be an option where if that vampire is then killed, okay, that's fine. The hunters then decide, right, well, let's move on to the next, and then all of a sudden you do get Hoax has popped up, or you can delay them enough via various means, perhaps bats, perhaps various whatever, that you get a Hoax to mature. Or it's just far enough away that if you get a first week without papers or fucking anything to help the hunters, great. I wouldn't. I've noticed a few times it's been done where it's been revealed. I wouldn't put a rumour token on it.
No.
Because really, you don't want to draw attention to it. And I can see why, because
I
people
agree.
might be thinking, well, this will drag the hunters away and perhaps it will delay them. But to me, you're wasting a rumour token. You're wasting a chance of getting health, because again, you've got to wait the following week for a second RT to rock up. And you don't want people knowing the hoax should be under the radar, that people just ignore it, miss it, and then it
agree.
pops up.
I agree.
You don't want a big fucking flag saying, come and stake
get
the
me.
hoax, you know, so yeah.
Yeah, I completely agree. I think the only way maybe is like if you want to use hoaxes as bait, so then they use up all the stakes, and then you put down lots of like fighter vampires, which they then can't deal with. And then if they can't supply through the deck quickly enough, the item deck, then they can't get the stakes back. But I agree. I think like rumor tokens, you want to use it on actual vampires or things that can actually hurt the vampires more, like maybe like a bat, or if you do like what you were talking about before, like a double mob with like a hive or something, and put a rumor on it, and they're like, oh shit, I'm going to deal with this now.
Yeah. It's a shame, though. I mean, it's a shame hoax has been reduced to kind of just being a delayed, you know, or kind of fodder just for a hunter. Because again, the mature, I mean, it's a bit skewed on the kind of risk and reward. You know, yes, it's if it comes off. But again, the fact is, if it comes off and say 2 hunter cards have been, 2 Dracula cards have been discarded, you can only pick from 2, and they might be shit, like some of the ones we spoke about yesterday. Look out for that video coming up shortly. Sorry, your PA boy's back on it, don't worry.
Good stuff.
Invoice in the post. Look for that to get ignored. So yeah, about a game of this, it's like, yeah, mid-game, you get a hoax to come off, and again, mid-game, you've probably got more chance of it, or even end-game where, you know, if you do a little trip to Cagliari, whatever, throw down a hoax, the hunters are on Drac's trail, it's almost like, right, well, fuck it, follow Drac, you know, I'll distract you, let hoax mature, because by then it could be Saturday, Sunday night, you get a Darkness Returns because there is a huge amount of cards there. You've won the game. So, I mean, it is, you know, it's by its definition, it's there to kind of, you know, confuse, misdirect people. It's a shame that it's just too easy to get taken out, but if it comes off, there's no, but again, because you're not, typically Dracs aren't getting any fucking cards from hunters unless it's final week or whatever. It's such a great feeling to get this to mature. It really, and it can change a game. You know, because you do this, you do a manual, and all of a sudden, you know, we spoke about in the other one, you pick a manual, and it doesn't matter whether there's no vamp cards on top. You could potentially burn very good 6 hunter cards. So there are 2 in the deck. Obviously, don't play them side by side. I've seen that happen sometimes where they've kind of, because the first one matures great, the second one there's fucking nothing to go for. You know, so yeah, and again, so don't put a rumor token on it, because you don't want to draw attention. It should be a little under the radar, and it's an added bonus if it comes off. So that's why it was kind of fluttering between this tier and the other one, because it's like you've no real, you know, you really just got to hope the hunters don't find it, because you've got nothing, you've got no recourse for that. They're just going to search it, become delayed, or use a stake. So
yeah, I think that's the thing. Yeah, I mean, yeah, as I said, the mature effect is incredibly powerful, like game changer. I know it doesn't give you points, but yeah, what it actually does as an ambush or like as an active encounter card, it's not great. But maybe then as well, if it had a really good like trail ability and a really good mature effect, then maybe then it'd be a bit unfair. But I don't know. It's interesting.
I don't know. It just seems one of those. It's kind of too. Again, it's like you were saying. It's one of these where you're late in the game and you've got 2 hoax cards in your hand. You're like, you know, I have done this in the past. I've just thrown one in a layer. I'm like, fuck it, just you know, there's no point in having hoax now.
No, especially if you know, depending on when you get them or whatever, that they'll never mature, because the game.
Yeah, if you're 4 days, correct.
You'll win or you'll lose, because it takes a whole week to get to mature, especially with the digital edition. That things mature a little bit. No, you do. Yeah, things do mature a little bit more slowly. So yeah, in that sense, I chuck them into layers too sometimes. Again, I know that they're not going to give me values of the layer, but just to cycle through the cards, which sounds really sad. Like, oh, you're putting hoax into a. If you ever see a situation early in the game where a Dracula player has put an encounter card down, and then the encounter after it has got a rumor token, it's probably hoax vampire. That's just what I'm screaming. And they're just hoping that the hoax matures, they get unearthly swiftness, and then they can activate it to get the vampire to mature. But then
that's the very that'd
be very powerful. But then, well, Yeah, but then they're using Earthly
You're-
Swiftness immediately to get 7 points. If they just put out Vampire, they would have got 7 points anyway. So I mean,
yeah, well, yeah.
is it
I mean,
better?
the thing is, you're relying on a lot of things to align, aren't you, for that to kick in?
Yeah, absolutely.
It's, as you say, it's a very convoluted planet. Well, this will work, and yeah, not when hunters don't supply at night, motherfuckers. So, yeah, so I had to kind of bring between this one. Bodyguards, again, I think it's relatively underrated because people don't really follow it much with regards to the matured effect.
Oh, the matured effect is...
Matured effect is, yeah, I mean, let's address that first, because one, it stacks. So you can have 2 bodyguards mature and both of them become your allies, which could be the difference between if the hunters have got Aggie and you've got 2 bodyguards, all of a sudden that match could be fucking, a no-brainer for Drac. So yeah, looking at it, the bodyguards, and again, I think it's one of those that, even its main, reveal kind of setup is pretty decent. So the hunter searches, again, don't ambush, just wait for it at night time. The hunter suffers 2 damage straight away before they do anything. They can't block this.
No.
Dogs don't do anything with it. So you've got your 2 damage. Then the hunter suffers 2 and becomes delayed unless they reveal a weapon. So like we were talking about, if the hunters don't have a conventional and they've got the fast horse heavily hosed stake combo, then done 4 damage and they're now delayed, and if it's a night ambush, they're delayed for the following day,
which is terrible.
which is huge.
Yeah.
And you would take that. I mean, that's equivalent of almost having a vamp fight, do you know? Without the risk of losing the vamp.
It could also be better than it, because against a vamp, you might not even do any damage, or you might only do 2 damage. You're not guaranteed to do damage.
Well, that's what I'm saying. Yeah, so you're guaranteed 4 damage on. Yeah, so it's a kind of best case scenario on a vamp fight, without the risk of they're just going to come back the next day, and if they don't have a conventional weapon, happy days.
Tough, yeah.
You know.
And I think the other thing with the matured effect is that then the effect triggers again before a fight. It happens before the fight, which is pretty interesting. So then they can't stop it, and because it's like a combat thing, so they can't forewarn it or whatever. And the other things too is, like, especially in the digital edition, it's tucked away in like the ally section. Now maybe if you're playing the physical board game, you see it there on the board, because on the digital version it's tucked away in the ally screen, and normally the only ally that's there is going to be the hunter ally, right? It's so easy to forget that this card exists. And you jump onto Drac and you're like, okay, cool, I haven't got that much health, but I've got just enough health that I can fight Dracula. But then there's like say a vampire or whatever that does damage to you. Then bodyguards hits, and then you're like, oh shit, I only have 2 health now. I've got to fight Dracula. How the fuck am I going to do this? It can just the number of times I've done it, and I've even said in the chat that when it matures, it's fine. The hunters will forget about it, and then literally, even as the Dracula player, oh shit, I forgot I had bodyguards. And it's such a little bastard card just hiding away there, waiting to pounce.
But it's funny because, I mean, like we said in the other video we spoke about with regards to the hunter event, the hunter players forget, about the allies, and Dracula forgets what allies they've got. Even when they're in combat, they'll forget if Aggie's playing or whatever. Yeah. This is even, as you said, this even more discreet, because hunters are going to look at it and go, oh yeah, that's my Rufus or that's my Aggie. They won't assume you've got this. And I like the fact that if you manage to get 2 of these matured and you've got 2 sitting there in a battle and it's a 2-on-1, as it states at the bottom, you can resolve the above effect against that hunter. So you can use one of them against one hunter and one of them against the other. And you can do damage on both.
Really?
You can only choose it's only on the resolve the above effect against that hunter. So it says in the hunter location.
Oh right, yeah. But if you've got like 2 of them, you can do one on one and one on the other.
Yeah. So I mean, that's the difference. Yeah, all of a sudden that could be them jumping on thinking happy days, and then it's like, right, okay, both hunters are now on 3 damage. Drac's not been touched yet, and we've had, I love that aspect of it. And again, it's most of the time if it's found, people kind of go, oh, do you know what? I'm not bothered with it. So I do, and it's almost like the in-game effect is just as good as the matured effect. The matured effect is purely to protect Drac, but the in-game effect is you can delay and again, what we're talking about, it means that it lets you know that, because a hunter's not going to not use a weapon to cancel it.
Yeah.
So if they haven't got any items, you know they haven't got a conventional weapon.
Yeah.
And then your strategy is different against them. So
There are
I had this initially. I had this just above the hoax, to be fair, but I kind of moved hoax up when we started talking about it. But I still think because there's more chance of this doing damage, and you can decide when you want to do it rather than hoax, I'd probably have this just above.
I think that's interesting. I think it'd be one of these things, and I think when Quincy did his like Dracula event, Dracula encounter thing, he kind of had to take into account. If we did a tier list, you'd have to create 2 separate tier lists: one for the matured effect and one for like the trail effect, like the ambush such effect. Because then things would skew. Obviously, the hoax mature effect is way better than bodyguards, assuming you got good stuff to pick from. But hoax, you know, you'd be pretty unlucky if you didn't. But then, as the normal trail effect, then yeah, this is better. So yeah, no, it's interesting. I do sometimes. I haven't done it recently. I do sometimes throw down bodyguards first, just as a bit of a joke. Not as a joke, but as also like, if this matures, it's got a decent matured effect. And I must admit, like recently, especially with the tournament, because I've been focusing so much on bats and fogs and vampires, a bodyguard just often ends up just getting thrown into layers, which is a bit of a shame. If it's on a high jumping zone, then great. But at the same time, yeah, you can't do everything. That's the problem. So maybe I just don't put so many layers down, and I just put more things on trail, maybe. And it means if I'm not getting through my deck quickly enough, oh well, okay. Because yeah, a lot of things like mob and bodyguards, I haven't actually used much on trail during the tournament. But now, if you're going to play, this video's probably going to come out after the league finishes, I think. I'm not sure. But then I'll see. Maybe I might switch up my strategy, because you have to, as Dracula, you have to switch it up. If you constantly play with the same like encounter like order or like the same like preferences, hunters will become wise to it, and they'll suddenly realize what you're doing. So you have to mix it up. You need to make it so that when the hunter searches at night, they don't know what they're going to walk into. That's kind of like the whole point of it. You need that unpredictability about it.
You do, and again, that's the thing, you know, the damage at night, and then if they haven't got a card, and they're, again, that's why I like this, because it is a multi-effect card.
Yeah.
You know, 4 damage. I like the fact that they do 2 damage before they can do anything. So it's like, fuck your dogs, fuck, you know, 4-1 doesn't even work. It's like, nope, this is happening. So brace yourself. I'm coming in, Aggie. You know, and it's, but again, if you get that matured, and I've had that where I've gone into fights where all of a sudden the hunters have, you know, this kicks in, and they're like, what? Hang on, what's? Yeah, I've got bodyguards as an ally, and you know, even if you do the 4 damage, and they don't have a weapon, you're like, oh right, so you've got heavenly host, right? Okay, well, I'm happy to fight you now. You know, it does, it just reveals a lot. So I do like that when it comes up. I'm like, yeah, okay, and even like I say, most of them are going to have a rifle or a knife. So. You know, if they don't, then...
But it depends on your line of thought. I just assumed that it was pretty conventional to have a conventional weapon. Jokes in the name. But I've been watching some other people play, and they're often running around without conventionals.
Don't bother, yeah.
So I'm just like,
the fast horse stake heavenly host is a kind of common combo, isn't it? Or the thing is, even a garlic and a heavenly host and fast horse say, people are kind of like, yeah, I've got that, and they might think that's a conventional weapon because it's got the fangs and the strength, but it's not. You know, it's not an attacking weapon; it's a passive. So, you know, even that would trigger that. You know, this bodyguards would still delay them. So yeah, I do like it.
But this is why I adore the game, and this is when we talk about items, we'll talk about this. But like, you can't carry everything. Hunters can't carry everything. If they're going to be more equipped to deal with vampires, well, then they're going to be weaker to like these sort of encounters. If they're more tooled up to deal with these sorts of encounters, then they're going to be weaker to desecrated soils. They're not going to have heavenly hosts. They're not going to have stakes to deal with vampires, and that's just why the game's so fucking cool. That you've got 39, was it 38 or 39 item cards? You can only hold 13. So you have to make these difficult decisions, and then if you just catch fate, sometimes it doesn't work. Sometimes you get really unlucky, and the one hunter that has a conventional lands on your bodyguards all the time or whatever. But then other times, nope, and it really hurts. And then Dracula has to take advantage of that. That's the important thing. Dracula has to be adaptable and go, alright, you don't have a weapon now, right, I know this. So then you can plan your moves around maybe which hunter you stay slightly closer to in case they jump on you, or whatever. You can work around it, and it's very cool.
I like the fact even if a hunter jumps on it and, you know, they jump on with 6 health, that's them down to 4.
Yeah.
So that's a big difference.
Because they're in claw range now,
Yeah.
potentially. If you can, even they've got a rifle, if you break the rifle, then they can be clawed to death very easily. And stuff. There's just a lot of cool things you can do with it. Or if it's a knife, they reveal a knife. Oh, you haven't got a rifle, right? Okay, I can claw you now. Yeah, that's just eking at that a little bit. That's why advice to all you hunter players. It was actually Rossco, I think, that originally put this in the Discord. If you're playing, especially the digital edition, I think you can do it in the physical board game too. But yeah, just have a look. I have a pad and some a pen and paper or whatever in front of you when you're playing, because then you can write down these things. I do it all the time. I write down. As soon as I play as Dracula, before even the game starts, I just write down LG, JS, VH, MH, and I start writing down what I think their items are. And as soon as they reveal things, I write them in. As soon as they get burned, I scratch them off. So you get an idea about what hunters have. The last thing you want as Dracula is to go into a fight and you look at your notes and like, well, I know fuck all about what they have. Shit, right? This is going to be bad. As soon as the more and more information you can,
it's funny, yeah.
Go for it.
Yeah.
And it's not cheating.
And that's it.
There's nothing in the rules that says you can't write stuff down. It's fair game, I think.
Oh, hell no. Absolutely, yeah. No, hell no. You take down. I mean, you've got to, especially as Drac, like you say, you've got to, and hunters should do the same for their own card. I mean, if I'm playing hunters, I've got my, my pad out because again, it's easy just to have a look down and say, all right, they've got that, rather than clicking on fucking Suet, right, he's got this, and then clicking back to it. Now, who's got, you just look at your page and go, right, he's got that, I need to swap there. And then you can just do that in the Dracula move, which then means the next day you're not sitting spending fucking minutes going, it's like, you've got your pad, you can move it. But certainly as Drac, I do the same as you. I set up a matrix. I've got my line across the top, line in the middle, G, S, V, H, M, items on one, events on the other, and just as and when either you remove them or they get, and again, you can marry this up with the Discord. With the discard section.
Yeah, absolutely. You get a lot
you can't play this game. You can't play this game as a kind of on a whim that I'll jump in for a quick hour game and see what happens, because you're going to get fucked over. So you need to make sure that you've got to stay ahead. And likewise, the hunters will be doing the same. When you move, they'll be looking back. If they're good hunters, they'll be saying, right, well, 3 days ago you were here, so this means you must be blah blah blah. Yeah. So when they find you, it's not, oh fuck, that was lucky. It's not luck. They've deduced the fact that this is where you have to be because they've managed to keep so it's all about using the misdirect when you have to, delaying them, and that's why all these cards become all part of the same moving machine rather than just look at them individually. You've got to look at them as how will it fit as part of the whole jigsaw to, as you say, fuck with the hunters, so that it allows Drac either to escape or attack or whatever he needs to do. That's the whole point. The fury of Dracula is not necessarily his anger levels or anger management. It's about the fury that he's inducing on everybody else about him. So, yeah.
You notice if I'm on my game, if I'm having a shit game, then if I'm on my game and concentrating, you'll notice if I'm playing Dracula, before I start putting down like new encounters, I might start flicking through my previous encounters on the trail and thinking, right, I did that a couple of turns ago, right, what do I want to put here? It's not just like, what do I have in my hand now? Yeah. It's very much like, what's gone before? Because obviously you don't want to, that's another thing we haven't even spoken about, if we're going to do it or not, but like, with vampires, going back to vampires, like, do you put them in a line? So then, if you think that the first couple might not mature, then you've got loads more that the hunters have to deal with. Do you space them out? All legitimate strategies. What do you do is entirely up to you. It depends on what you think the hunters can deal with at the time. It's all about being adaptable. That's like the key aspect of this game. You have to be adaptable at all times.
And again, the thing is, for both factions, you can only play the cards that you've got in your hand. So again, any predetermined strategies you may think you have or what have you can down the toilet in the first week, because I think most Drac players now, and for those that are new to the game, expect to be found in the first week, but don't panic. It's not really an issue. If the hunters try and jump on you in the first week, you've got a pretty good chance of maybe getting a little hunter death there. But don't be like, oh, for fuck's sake, I can't believe. Now I go into every game assuming that newspaper report's going to get found on on day 3, and I'll always use the misdirect one, because this whole, I don't agree with other strategies about let it run and see what happens, because I'd rather have that extra day, like you were saying, even if it's a stay and hide. Then if misdirect is there and I've stayed and hidden and newspaper reports been drawn on the misdirect, then great. They've got to wait until the 5th, and rather the 6th now, rather the 5th. Sorry, I beg your pardon. So, you've just got to adapt to what you've got on there. So play it like you're going to get found, but don't let that affect the cards you throw down. And you're right, it's about looking back at cards you've played. I mean, I've played where opponents have, they've matured and then gone, oh shit, I've just lost. I placed a reckless down after a new vampire, and I've just matured my new vampire with that rumor token. It's like, well, I would have turned that new vampire into a lair, and kept your other cards after it. And as hunters, you've got to pick and choose the battles. That's what we say. Is sometimes, and I was guilty of that when I first started. Was like, chase down every trail, clear every fight. Sometimes you're like, fuck it. If it's a new vampire, I'm not going to waste any time trying to kill this. I want to keep my stakes for others. All right, mature it, get your 3 points, burn the other cards, which means I don't have to worry about, searching them, which are probably going to be irritants rather than anything else. And if they don't mature it, and it's a layer, you're like, all right, well, I can now address these other two after it. So, don't panic. I see a lot of people that when they get found quickly, it's like, shit,
No, actually don't panic. No, I completely agree. And also, like you're saying, like, those things after it might be irritants. Yeah, they're irritants, but if they're costing you 2 health per turn when you walk on them, you can deal with them. That's a lot of turns, and you have to start healing. And then if you're healing, you can't trade, you can't get tickets or whatever it is you want to fucking do. You can't search other stuff, and then it starts becoming like this snowball effect. Then I said it before, and I'll say it like 1,000 times. Like the reoccurring theme is for both sides. Your whole purpose is you need to make the life for the other side, your opponent, as difficult as possible. If you're forcing them to make really awkward decisions, that's when mistakes happen. That's where you'll make slips and you'll make the wrong choice, or you pick the wrong fight at the wrong time. If the hunter, I'll say from the hunter player perspective, if the hunter player is not, I don't say on autopilot, but if it's really obvious every single turn what the hunter's supposed to do, there's only one clear choice every turn, then that's the Dracula player isn't doing enough to hurt the hunter player. If the hunter player is sitting going, shit, I need to do this and this and this, but I've only got one action, fuck, what do I do? That's when the hunters are in a bad position. And then conversely, I know Dracula's got less to do in terms of like actual actions, in terms of like what they can do, but still the same thing. If Dracula is just walking around freely, doing absolutely whatever they want, then that's the hunters are not doing their job properly. But if Dracula's having to make really awkward decisions like, shit, do I go to the port now and go back to sea? But I don't want to go to sea now because then that might affect later on when other stuff comes off the trail. I don't want to go to sea yet because wolf form's not on cooldown, all that stuff. That's when, again, Dracula will start making mistakes. They'll try and stay on land one more turn, and then you can punish or whatever it is. So that's the whole thing.
Absolutely agreed. Absolutely agreed.
Should we try and wrap this up under the 2-hour mark?
Yeah, it'll be a fucking. You'll be getting a note from YouTube saying, "Is there something wrong? I think your account's been hacked." So last one here. Okay, so Saboteur. Saboteur. Yeah, I mean it's there. It's, as you said, it used to be meta where it was the hide card that was favourable against the defender Drac. If they jump on you during the day, you can delay them for night. But if they've got a pistol or rifle, they just burn it.
Apart from the hide trick, it seems a little bit meh, because obviously if you ambush with it, you're only delaying it at night, which in very, very niche circumstances that could be a vital night action to trade something, but oftentimes it won't be. And then
it can be, the dogs can delay it, get rid of it as well. So
true, that's true, and also the fact that then it's not bad if they search it at night, they're losing a day action, which is pretty good. And often they won't have dogs to counter it. So, that's fine. Even if they do have the pistol or rifle, the matured effect doesn't really matter. You don't play Saboteur for the matured effect. Let's be honest here. It's about delaying the hunter, either for the initial thing, if it's a hide trick, or just you put it down the trail, hoping they'll just search it. A really opportune time for Dracula's perspective. They get delayed, so you've got a free turn to get even further away, which could be vital.
Like you said earlier, this is one of those cards that I would maybe, if I had in my hand, throw down into layers, because you can ambush them if they land on it, and again it delays a night action, which just gives you a little bit of extra, might stop them healing, whatever. So Saboteur is not a bad one on the,
especially later in the game where trading might be more vital, right? And they might be setting up a really important combo, and you're like, oh shit, now Van Helsing's delayed, or whoever it is, I can't trade this around or whatever. It's not great. It's not a great card.
When I see it in my hand, I'm like, right, okay, yeah. And again, as you say, like, if they search at night, then okay, they become delayed following day, but
the matured effect is just meh.
It's like in our video yesterday, all it needs is one good luck and that's it. But one roadblock isn't going to isn't going to fucking stop anybody from getting to you. So
if you combine like a saboteur mature with like the actual roadblock event card, and you throw down 4 of these things on one turn, that's pretty good. But honestly, what's the likelihood that the saboteur is going to mature and you get the roadblock card once in a blue moon, mate? So it's just not great. Yeah, I'd put it towards the bottom. Yeah.
We've got that, and then well, you can probably guess what's left. There's only 3 cards left. So I've got wolves and rats are the other 2. Kind of similar approaches. Obviously, as it says on here, the good thing is with the wolves is each hunter on the city suffers 4.
Yep.
Only if they, they can reveal a weapon card to reduce the damage. So if they reveal 2 weapons, they get no damage. If they've only got 1, they get 2 damage, which is fine. Again, if you're assuming that all hunters carry 1 conventional weapon, then you're going to do 2 damage on 2 hunters for it. So that's not bad. It can be quashed by a dog.
Yeah, which I always find really funny, because like obviously like the wolves, the fight with dogs was like, surely the wolves are going to fucking win in that situation.
Yeah, or they just band together like Planet of the Apes and decide, right, fuck it, we're just going to take out all the humans. So it becomes a canine world.
Yeah, or maybe they just befriend them and they all go off into the forest together or something, right?
Yeah. See you later, like, come back. What? Oh, for fuck's sake, right? Okay.
I think there could be.
So
you do get a lot of information from it. If you know a hunter suddenly reveals 2 weapons, then as hunters, then you play like this little cat and mouse game where it's like, if I land on wolves and I have 2 conventional weapons, do I reveal only 1 of them to make Dracula think I only have 1 weapon? I'm hiding 1, or do I not take the 2 damage? You got this little bit, subterfuge going on. There's some interesting things you can do.
And don't waste any other card, 4-1. Don't waste any of that on these cards.
Don't fucking bother. No, just don't do it. Unless you know for a fact it's like is this going to be the final combat, then fucking go for it then.
Yeah.
But otherwise, the matured effect is like the same thing. It's up to 2 roads away, but often the hunters will be far away anyway, so it's not like the same region where maybe you might just catch somebody, but 2 roads away. It's only 1 as well. There's only 1 city, that's the thing. So it's not like Mob, where it's everybody in that region.
Everybody.
You only pick 1 city.
You just hit. Yeah.
So it could be the
And
difference.
as you say, there's nobody in the city, then it's like, yeah, exactly. So,
this is the one I chuck into layers most often. I just like, the information can be useful. I'm not saying it's absolutely dog shit, but it's dog shit. Am I right? But it's
I'm howling here. I'm howling.
But just when you compare it to everything else, that's the problem with this. There's so many good cards, and eventually you have to make these awkward decisions. Like, I'm going to chuck something reasonably good into a layer, and sometimes you have to just do it. So
and I think, and the rats is kind of, you could almost argue the rats is actually a bit better than wolves because it does do 2 damage regardless, because again, if a hunter's got 2 conventional, the wolf does nothing. If the hunter's got dogs, then both of these are academic, but the rat will do 2 damage anyway, and then you can only get rid of it with a pistol or rifle. So if you've got a knife and garlic, doesn't matter, the rat's going to stay there. And the good thing is it doesn't burn, so the rat will just stay on that location. So anybody else, if it's high traffic, you're going to get 2 damage on them as well. I've done this before with layers. Throw a rat in a layer. It's quite a good one to have. It's 2 damage, and again, if they're down on 4, they push them down to 2. Then okay, right,
Shame there's no matured effects. Obviously, it's pretty much destined for a layer. But then if you layer it, if you actually put the rat on the trail card and it doesn't get removed because it actually matures, or because the hunter didn't have a pistol or a rifle, then you put it into a layer. That's doubled up. And if it's a high traffic location, then that could hurt. If you put like 2 rats in there, they take 4 damage immediately when someone walks on it. That's like half of their health more or less. So this is pretty much destined for layers, though. That's the thing. It's not often you'll find this on it. If I walk on and I find this on a trail card, I'll be like, oh, fucking happy days.
Oh yeah, the hunters don't care about it. No, it's purely one of those that you say if it's a case of throw it down, throw down 2 and try and get a foot, or throw, if you've got nothing in your hand, throw down 1 after the other. So they do a rat, so there's only 2 damage. They don't, they maybe get tickets at night or trade, don't heal, and then move tomorrow, and oh shit, rats, all of a sudden that's 4 damage. It's like, right, and then the third card could be, bodyguards, and all of a sudden you're like, oh shit, hang on. I've taken 4 damage with 2 rats, and now I'm taking 4 damage on bodyguards, and I'm delayed. if that's Van Helsing, you're dead. So, yeah, but I mean, it's not enough. I mean, it's not enough to be anywhere above, I think, the other four we mentioned. This is kind of like, when you get these, you're like, they're the first you're going to discard. If you get a desecrated soil and it says, choose this card, you're probably going to say, right, get rid of Wheels, get rid of Saboteur, and I'll take Rat, I'll keep these other two or whatever. So,
absolutely. I agree.
They're not the card you want to see in a Dark Hall, so...
It's kind of the same thing again we talked about with the Hunter event cards and the Dracula event cards. Like, they shouldn't all be equal in terms of strength. That's kind of the idea of it. If all of these cards were equally strong in a really powerful sense, well, no, if they wouldn't be if they're all like medium strength, there's no diversity then. You want these things where, as a hunter, when you're searching things, you want to have that sort of like trepidation, like, is this going to be something really, really powerful, like bats or a vampire I've got to then fight, or it could be something like rats. You want that level. If everything's just medium strength, it's like meh, it's all kind of the same. you want things to be a little bit uneven, and then that brings in that different elements of strategy. Do you just chuck rats into layers, or do you actually, once I put them on the trail, and create that little bit, oh, rats, oh crap, okay, and then you got that mix up again, and then that might confuse the hunter player or whatever.
The thing is, again, it's looking at it more than just what it says on the card. It's about how does it fit in with your strategy. So, if you play rats and they reveal a rifle, then all of a sudden you tick that on your list that you're filling in, and you go, right, so it's got a rifle, and it's giving you information unwillingly from the hunters. That's what you've got to look at with these cards. It's not about it does two, and you could probably question why I've put it in the bottom layer, but out of the way the cards are, it's less versatile than the other cards. It does less damage potentially. There's no matured effect, so it's kind of sitting there. The Saboteur matured effect is pretty shit, and so are the Wolves. So yeah, I've got these kind of thanks. Good to, if they come along, I can do something with it. But yeah, there's much better cards I'd rather hold on to. Again, they all work in the master plan. That's the whole thing. They all work together. So
absolutely, I think they all have a point to them. It's not like, even though there's clearly like we've got a tiering system the way we've thought about it, but it's not like, this one is just utterly useless. They all have a point. They all do something, and you have to then work out based upon the game, the state of the game that you're playing and how you want to play as Dracula. What do you want to get out of it? Do you want more information? Do you want to slow down the hunters more? Do you save up your vampires late? That's what we didn't even talk about vampires. Like, traditionally you put one down early, because if you get it to mature, then fucking happy days, you get lots of points. But do you save them late? And that's my initial thinking as Dracula. Well, you save them onto them late because you can use them to really hurt the hunters. Later they have to deal with vampires rather than dealing with you. But then I've played against, this a few months ago before the league started, played a game against Mr. Green. I think might have been tag teaming with Warecraft, I can't remember. But he threw in all of his vampires mid-game. And suddenly his hunters are suddenly like, oh shit, we've got like four vampires to deal with, and we've only got like 2 stakes. Now what do we do? What ones do we prioritize? Do we let one mature? Do we try and fight the others? Do we just, sack one of them off and just say, well, fuck it, he can get his 4 points, and then we keep chasing Drac? What do you do? And it falls into this really awkward situation. Especially we were discovering them one after the other. It wasn't like all simultaneous. So we're like, okay, fine. We were discovering them one after the other. It's just a really awkward situation. I don't know I don't know what the correct answer is to that question. It all depends on how you want to play the game, right? And depending on also everything out.
Yeah, I mean, again, this is about referring back to the discarded pile, because if you look in there and see that 3 stakes have been discarded, and I've got 2 Dracs, I keep saying Dracs, 2 Vamps in my hand, I'm out thinking, right, and say there's 10 cards still in the item, we're in the middle of it, I might go, oh right, no stakes, fuck it, I'm throwing down 2 Vamps, because again, it's going to do damage. They can't just escape and then stake you the next day. They've got to fight you conventionally, so you would throw them. I mean, again, it's one of those, isn't it? You've got to use them. The cards are there to be used. They're not there to be hoarded and fucking displayed. And I like this card. I love this. I'm going to keep it. No, fucking play it when it suits you. Because if Drac's going to die, then it doesn't matter. It's the same with the hunters. Don't hold on to a card that you love. If you've got CG from day one, fucking use it when you think it's appropriate. Because if you die, it doesn't matter. So, to me, I think it's a really difficult. I don't think the question is so subjective because everyone plays completely different. If you've got, again, it depends on, if you do use your cards at the beginning, and you hope that they don't have stakes. Usually the hunters, because of the way the meta works in here, because by the first week they've pretty much almost burnt the first item deck, you can guarantee that almost, unless you're unlucky where you get 300, hunter draws 3 stakes. But typically, you've got to assume that 2 out of 3, 2 out of the 4 hunters are going to have a stake on them.
Yeah.
Do you want to burn a vamp at the beginning? Well, or do you want them then, if you wait till later? Well, the thing is, what else are they going to use the stakes on? Nothing but vamps, really. Hoax you can delay. So the fact is, it's not as if later on you can turn around and use them when the stakes have been used. I think you've just got to. I like doing it. I mean, I did. When I did my the kind of double up, you stay and hide and throw down 2 vamps on there. That's to me the best combo for that, because especially if it's too new. That's again what I was talking about earlier with her. It's a good cannon fodder. They get through 1-6 and they go, "Fuck, I've lost. That was tough." Next minute, boom, here's a second one for you. Oh Jesus! And then you got Drac at the end of it.
Yeah.
I try and and again, giving away tactics now. But normally, if I'm doing that and I want to hide somewhere, if I've got the cards in the hand, I like to do a double vamp where I am with a hide and then me. And if you find me, then it's a case of you've got to fight through a lot to get to me. Mm-hmm. But then again, the aristocratic. Again, if you don't have a new vampire, you can only play what you have. It's aristocratic. Then you're like, well, okay, it burns a stake, but okay.
That's why I argue maybe as a strategy you don't ambush with fight a vampire. I'm saying I understand why you would, because you can get points or because you can hurt hunters, but then the hunters will become wise to it and they'll only stake things that the
don't ambush.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
If you sometimes don't ambush, then you can actually bait hunters into really bad situations where they go into a combat with a new vampire, or they search thinking it's just like a hoax or an aristocratic, and they don't want to use their stake because they don't want to become delayed. Or no, they'll just delay themselves rather than playing the stake, and suddenly it's like, oh shit, we've got a new vampire. How the fuck am I going to fight this at night? But also, I'd also argue, if they're burning stakes on aristocratics and hoaxes, that's good, because then from a hunter perspective, you're not becoming delayed, and you don't want to be delayed during the day, unless you then delay yourself at night if you search during the day, but then you've lost a day action searching rather than moving. So I can see why you'd want to use a stake on hoax or aristocratic at night, but then if you're burning through the stakes, then you're not going to have them for new and reckless. So it's all that, again, that dynamic of what do the hunters use. They only have 4 stakes, and I know obviously they'll get through the item deck quicker than Dracula will get through the encounter deck, but still you've got, how many is that? That's 10 cards which can be counted by stake. You've only got 4 stakes.
Yeah. But again, it's a case of, you got 28 in here, so out of those 28, you're hoping to get cards that need stakes to counter them.
That's the thing.
So
often a lot of them can come out, because at least for me, I often hold on to vampires. So then you get them all at once. It's like, oh shit, I've got 5 vampires, or I've got 2 hoaxes and 3 vampires. Right, I'm gonna have to actually start putting some of these down now.
And I guess then, from that point of view, as a Drac player, you got to look at it and say, well, depending again where it is in the game, if they mature but it's not going to win you the game, and you've got 3 sitting there, you need to work out who you're willing to sacrifice. So do you play a reckless vampire first, hoping to mature, and then you've got 2 new vampires following, so that if the reckless does mature, you don't mind losing 2 new vampires? Or if the reckless does get beaten, you're then going to only take 3 instead of 4, but then you're like, well, I've still got 2 vampires here that at least one will mature, and I'm going to get 3 damage, which, I mean, any IP is better than none. So, but again, you're losing potentially, 3 vampires, plus if it's the 3rd vampire that matures, you're then losing the 3 cards that you've just placed.
Yeah, which could be other stuff like desecrated soils that you might need for healing, or spies, or
because you might plan for the first one to mature, and you think, I've got a good setup of that happening, and then you count, which we all will do. You count the 3 afterwards and think, well, I'm not going to throw down. You might throw down shit cards and think, well, I don't care if they burn on the premise that I'm wanting the vamp to mature. Or you might decide, well, that vamp is at a high risk. I mean, if it does mature, I get the option to make it mature or a layer, but then I might have 3 cards afterwards. All of a sudden, if I mature that, or if I turn to layer this, and my next card's a hoax, then you might decide, oh fuck it, I'm going to mature my hoax, and then after my hoax, I've got another vampire, and dad. So it's really, I mean, plan it how you want, guys. There's no written strategy guide that you can buy to see how to play the game, because every game's different. You've just got to decide what suits your gameplay. You have got the discard pile for items, so make sure you refer to that so you can see what the hunters have discarded. Don't. I mean, a lot of people probably don't even know about it. You just click on the bottom left in the middle deck of cards, and you can see all the cards that the hunters. And what it then does is it allows you to show the kind of hunter player you're playing against. Because if they've thrown away 3 stakes, you're thinking, right, these are pretty aggro hunters that are going to be tooled up and want to go and just try and take, kill who they can. If there's a lot of, there's 2 knives and there's 2 rifles, like, all right, so they're going to be more cautious or perhaps more stealth players. And it helps you just, again, into the psyche to find out who you're playing, because that's as much the battle as playing the actual game. You're trying to counter, you're trying to outthink, and you have got the tools to do it, so, and the hunters have got the same. They can click on the same one for Drac and say, right, what cards have been discarded, and work it that way. So it's fair on those sides. But yeah, I mean, the Dracula question, the vampire question, I think it's too contextual, isn't it? It depends if you've got them, when you want to play them, how you want to do it.
Obviously, there's not a massive, this is going to be kind of like a plug for my channel, but the only way you can really do it is if you're interested, watch games where, maybe not my first games playing as Dracula, because I didn't know what I was doing, but especially the more recent ones in the League, where I've been trying to explain more about what I'm doing and what I'm thinking, and you'll see, depending on the game situation, what I'm maybe thinking about, where I'm going to put this, where I'm going to put this. Maybe we're just going to have to get Rossco up and running with OBS, so we can get even more Dracula gameplay onto YouTube. You can see how Rossco is playing for while playing.
Jesus, can you imagine? Hell freezes over. It's just me tapping a keyboard. It's like, Ross. I'll just put the volume up. Hang on, bear with me.
Well, I don't know. Hopefully.
So I think that's pretty much it. I mean, I think it was a hell of a lot easier one than the Hunters one, because obviously there's less. But I think that's the main thing. When I was looking at it, it wasn't until I kind of had them all out in front of me, and I was like, do you know, actually, they do all complement each other.
Yeah,
if you play them the right way, and I guess that's how it's meant to be. All of Dracula's, from the book iterations all the way through, he's using everything around him to his advantage, and that's how you should play it as Drac. It's a case of, right, and if I get all my powers, all my minions, all my everything to assist me, you've got a better chance of winning the game. If you don't, and you just throw them down and kind of like, nah, fuck it, this will do. If you don't know what your strategy is, the chances are the hunters will. You're fucked. Yeah. So you've got to have multiple strategies that you can jump onto a contingent plan. If they decide first one, then you're like, oh, as I say, don't get, if you don't get found in the first week, then fucking happy days. But that's becoming less and less a frequent thing.
Absolutely.
Either they've got the papers on the 5th day, or they draw an immediate, and that's it, job done. But when I first see these players, I was just like, fucking papers, but every fucking... And then I'm like, well, it doesn't matter, because they're not going to jump on me straight away, and wherever you are might be 4 or 5 cities, typically, unless you're a fucking idiot and you start next to a hunter. Which isn't ballsy, it's just fucking stupid. You want to make sure that you could be 4 cities away from the nearest hunter anyway. So they're going to jump on you, and by the time they get there, it's going to be 2 or 3 days. So all of a sudden, you've got a trail of 5 anyway. So don't...
Yeah. Well, that's the thing, the hunter player should, in theory, like I said, there's a hierarchy of things. As a hunter player, there's a hierarchy of things you have to do. Get tooled up, and then find a trail location, either with newspaper or scouts or whatever, right?
Mm-hmm.
Then you deal with the encounters. Now, obviously, if a vampire matures, then the hunters will go, okay, there's not much now we have to deal with. Then the priority shifts a little bit. But in general, get tooled up, deal with the encounters, get tooled up again, because obviously you might lose stuff, and then you go for Dracula. Once the all 4 hunters have been able to deal with encounters and the trail is more manageable, and obviously then these things are going to sort of mix a bit, because you might have 2 hunters deal with encounters, 2 who are chasing Dracula. But that's the general thing. A hunter will not discover your location first week and then think, oh right, I need to chase after Dracula. No. They're going to go after your encounters because they don't want that rumor to mature or whatever. So then you've got a bit of time. You can start moving away. You can do wolf form to cause, you can do that. But you don't have to sit there and panic and go, oh right, shit, they're going to find me now. Like, no. Just take your time and just go for it bit by bit. And just be a deep, like I kind of said this when we did my guide for new players, not even a guide, like my mentality, guide. I was just like, just be adaptable and be like open-minded to every situation, and especially like when you're playing. If it's a league game, it's different, obviously. But like, if it's just been a friendly game, I've done this actually. I'm not saying this like I've been actively throwing games. That's not what I mean by it. But when I've been playing Dracula in a friendly games, in like around the tournament, I've actually lost a lot of them. But a lot of it is actually I'm just limit testing. I'm actually testing like combos of cards, what type of moves I can get away with. So then in the league, I will then know, right, I take all that experience and put it into the game, and I will play a bit more. Like, obviously, I play every game seriously. It's not like I'm taking the piss and trying to troll. But if I get caught really easy in a friendly game now, I'm like, oh, well, okay, cool, that's fine. I've tested something, and then you take all that experience and you utilize it in the league games. Obviously, if there is, depending on when people, very kind people watching this video, if you join our community, and I hope you do, hopefully there'll be a tournament, but maybe not. But obviously then, you can take the friendly games, quote unquote, as seriously as you want. But yeah.
Well, that's it. I mean, there's a leaderboard within the game anyway. Can you bring it up on your screen? The menu one, because so even if you're playing, and you think it's a friendly, that a lot of people aren't even aware of it. There is a leaderboard you can actually, will show up your results and things. So, and this gives you a heads up.
Right, Rossco only wants to do this because he's at the top of every fucking leaderboard here, by the way. Like, what the fuck is this? Like, get a fucking life, really. Just...
I'm not on the top of it. I've not even looked at it for ages. I don't think... No.
Oh, yeah.
No, look. It's, second. I don't know who this Robert McFeely is. I've never even seen him in Discord. I think he's just playing AI every fucking... I don't know. But yeah, no, I mean, people that... Because again, like, when I've played, go and check your leaderboard, and they're like, oh, see, there you go. It's 500 wins, 200 there, so it's...
You have the most losses, though.
Yeah, I guess I've played the most games. It's going to happen, but it's a 75-25 ratio, so I'm alright with that. I mean, Quincy's got a loss. Quincy's got a win rate of... Scroll down, I think he's down. So he's got 81 losses, but he's only got about 120 odd wins or something.
238.
200, all right, 200. He's gone out there, yeah. So, but no. So in all seriousness, for people that are joining, there is a leaderboard system there. You can see where you're playing, you can start working around it, and yeah, I mean, take advantage of the, you are wanting to use your kind of friendlies, and again, the whole AI stuff. Get used to the UI and the cards as soon as you can, and then the best thing to do is just start playing humans. You don't want to be playing 50 games against the AI, because you'll learn fuck all from it in gameplay and strategy, because the hunters are retarded. They just won't do what you just won't get anything from it. So but obviously make sure that you know enough about the game to come in, that you're not kind of asking questions in every round. So but yeah, I mean, and it's funny, like you were saying, that you've seen, I mean, I've kind of consciously not played any games out with the tournament games that I've been that. One, because it's other life factor, has been busy with other stuff, but two, it's almost been like keeping my focus and my energy, as bizarre as that might sound. It's just a computer game, but keeping my focus and energy for the tournament fights, as I call them, because they are. If I was doing that and then jumping in and kind of playing 2 or 3 friendlies and then back to 2, it'd be too much, so I'm like, I want to just keep focused on the tournament ones and do it. But I have seen other players kind of, I need to practice. Anybody want to jump on just now? And as you say, it's a slower. I mean, if we end up getting that 2v1 with Gyro, then that would be that'd be a nice, relaxing game, if you like. We'd all be still trying to win, but it'd be a nice, right? Okay, shake and bake against Gyro. We could just play it in a different way.
Yeah, it's not the end of the world if you do this, because you'll learn things from the game. That's the way I view games. Like, as long as you learn something from this game, and then you put it into practice for the next time you play, then that's kind of the whole point of it. Because the digital version is so accessible compared to when you play the board game. I mean, we were talking about this yesterday with the other video, that there's a lot of camaraderie when you're playing in person. You can egg your players on, you might role play a bit and all that. There's teamwork thing going on. Whereas when 1v1, it's very different. But then with the digital version, yeah, okay, fine, you haven't got the camaraderie, but it's much quicker. So if you do play a game and you do make a couple of silly mistakes and you get caught really early or whatever, then it's like, oh well, okay, I might have only lost an hour by evening, and you would have learned from it. And that's kind of the best thing about it. You can acquire that art knowledge far faster than you would ever play by playing the physical board game. So you can use that to your advantage. So yeah, I've been doing that. I've just been having I haven't played many games. It's more been like a couple of interview games I've done with like Quincy and then Pizza Wizard. And you know, if I've not been playing well
Oh yeah,
as
sure.
Drac, I'm making like funny. Like, oh, you know what? I don't really care honestly. The important thing is the league game. If I win the league game, that's fine.
Well, that's the hope. So the video you got with Quincy, what is that? You and him actually talking like this on that video?
Yeah.
Oh.
I didn't watch it. Oh, he didn't watch my videos. Oh no, it's the one where it's called.
It wasn't because it was yours. It was anyway. Yeah, I didn't realise. I thought it was just a gameplay one. Oh right, I might have.
No. It was just gameplay. It was a gameplay one. Yeah.
Aye.
We weren't
And then,
talking. We weren't talking like this about the game. It was just we did a gameplay one. And same with Pizza Wizard. That's coming out. I mean, again, so we should really stop the recording because it's all like old news. Everyone's like, why the fuck are we listening to this? I might.
Oh yeah, do that. Yeah, go on then. Yeah, because otherwise, that way we might get a. That's 2.25 hours. So yeah, that's a shorter video.
Yeah,
I'll let you do that.
People have fucking turned off anyway. So anyway, people, thank you for watching this. Hopefully this has been informative. I don't know if there's been anything really educational in here that you haven't been able to find elsewhere, but hopefully you've enjoyed the two of us just chatting away. And we'll do another one soon for the hunter items, which I think would be cool. And I think that's pretty much it. There are like power cards and stuff. There's only 5 of them. I think Quincy covered them in good enough detail anyway. So yeah, we'll do the item cards next. And see you in the next video very soon. Take care, everybody. Bye bye.